Freedom, I never had the chance to run. Leave behind the said and done. Figure out what's to come. Reasons, all the bigger things I can't ignore. I'm not getting what I came here for. Gotta get ahead of something more. So I think I found a new way out, way beyond a shadow of doubt. 'Cause I can't breathe, and I guess I could be stronger now and leave it up to fate somehow. But I'm doing this for me. Give it up, baby, I'm not fooling anyone. Always going on and on. Can't you keep it to yourself for once? Oh, I think I found a new way out, way beyond your shadow of doubt. And I can't breathe. Oh, I hope you're keeping count of all the times you let me down, and all the things you said out loud, the bullshit I could cry about. And I know we could be stronger now and leave it up to fate somehow. But everything I do for me.
I get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. And now when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I, just you and I. Only you can put my fire out. You can turn it all around. You can lift me off the ground, so we can fly again, so we can fly again. Trying hard not to go out of my mind. And all I need right now is for you to stay the night. But if you keep saying that you've got to leave, then I'm gonna be alright. As long as you tell me that we ain't running out of time. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I, just you and I. Only you can put my fire out. You can turn it all around. And you can
the speed of light do decay more slowly than stationary particles. As strange and counterintuitive as it seems, time dilation is a law of nature.
feet. Stand up, stand up. Come on, get loose with the heat. Right now, right now. Pick up body till we black out. Black out, black out, black out, black out. So get the fuck up.
had the chance to run, leave behind the said and done, figure out what's to come. Reasons, all the bigger things I can't ignore. I'm not getting what I came here for. Gotta get ahead of something more. So I think I found a new way out, way beyond a shadow of doubt. 'Cause I
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Simplay Motorsport, here live for the final rounds of the season 23 and 24 here at the Autodrome. I can't remember the fully name of it from last night. I'm going to have to Google it again now. But we're here at Monza nonetheless. The city, half an hour outside of Milan, and we're here in Italy for a fantastic race. The Autodromo Nazionale di Monza circuit is where we're at, half an hour outside of Milan. And compared to last night, we have absolutely tipped everything upside down. And it is beautiful, glorious weather. I'm Matthew Duffin, joined in your box, sweet and sticky in your box once again for the final time this season. Kelly, how are you?
Very well. Look at this weather. Come on, innit?
It's beautiful,
Would you
isn't
Adam and
it?
Eve it? Really? I mean, honestly. Yeah, last night there was some guy with a big boat loading on giraffes 2x2, lions 2x2, stuff like that. It was biblical rain last night, and pro night, beautiful sunshine. What is that all about?
The Pro-Am boys have had it a bit easy, haven't they, this season? A bit difficult, compared to last season.
Absolutely. The pro boys, they're the ones who earn their money. Surely they should have it wet, shouldn't they?
You'd have thought so, wouldn't you? You'd have thought that would have been the case, but it's not going to be that way for these guys tonight. Bone dry tonight. The forecast looks crystal clear. It looks absolutely beautiful, and no doubt we are going to bring you some fantastic racing. Oh, there's Andy round in the background
Andy's
under the bridge. Before a scar. We've got 11 drivers out there. We are expecting a few more to turn up later in the evening. And I tell you what, crowning the champion last week, we've got a fascinating night of racing where there's an inter-team battle between Peaceful and Monkey Boy. There's a battle for the final 10th place on the final standings between Sooty Bozzy and Rabbit Joe. There's also a brilliant battle for second place in the title. Gary D. Biggs and Big Boy Brazier separated by 4 points. Gary leads Big D. Biggs by 2, and D. Biggs ahead of Jamie by 2 as well. So what a battle we've got there. And a bit of news for the Simplay Racing boys in terms of the BMW. They've got a chance of getting off the bottom of the constructors' table with a good result, depending on what straight line racing can do. In fact, depending on what run flat racing do as well. It's going to be difficult for them to get going. But we'll have to see what happens in this one. Kelly, thoughts on tonight's track?
Well, kind of business as normal, isn't it? Apart from take this man out of the mix, really, because our champion has been crowned last year. The man on your screen right now on Orthodubs is your new champion. But yeah, you're quite right. We've still got a battle between Jamie Brazier and D. Biggs and Gary. So, you know, it's kind of business as normal. My thoughts on the track, historic track. It was one of these that before the whole COVID thing that me, Haley and Dan were talking about going and having a trip there, which would have been last season for the Grand Prix. You know, the home of the Devosi and steeped with absolute history. Me personally, never got on very well with it, but I love the place. Not so keen on driving it.
Yeah, it didn't look like you got on very well with it last night.
No, wasn't the best.
Yeah, we are though. Who's that's just got in the session? Gary's just got in the session. So nice to see Gary in then and ready to go here. Then we are looking at some of the best drivers here at Simplay Motorsport. The Pro Boys, they're not in this category for no reason. And what are we going to expect tonight? We saw Liam last week take his first ever podium in the Pro Series, which was a joy to watch. Seeing him come from Pro-Am into the Pro and get that podium was fantastic to watch. Can he do it again? That is the big question on everybody's faces, as we've just lost Gary, so he's maybe not have set it up with the steering wheel. But what we have got then is we have got an interesting night, Kelly, of drivers. I'm going to go through the current championship standings, if that's all right with you. I know you enjoy the
I'd
tables.
love you to. In fact, I was missing it already. So, yes, please.
There we go then. So it is Dun Orthodubs, your champion, 65 points, clear of Gary 131, who's back in the session. Gary then second on 335. 2 points ahead of D Biggs on 333. Big Boy Brazier on 331 in fourth. Little Eachan 276. He's a bit too far back at the moment. Peaceful Explosion is then on 198. He's down in sixth place. Monkey Boy in seventh. The little inter-team battle to see what them guys can do in terms of who will finish top six or not. Disco McDisco Face then 20 points behind Monkey Boy. Andy then on 159 in ninth place. Sooty on 136 in 10th. That Bozzy Boy sits 11th on 135. Rabbit Joe sits in P12 on 132. P13 is Emo Guy on 119. P615 P14 is Phil on 113. Welsh is P15 and Mazda P16 rounding things off in the Drivers' Championship. Mazda obviously missing though quite a lot of this season. Shake and Bake won the Constructors as well, so for Dan and D-Biggs, that's that job done as well. For the Teams Championship, Leachy Legends, well, will they be the Leachy Legends next year? We'll wait and see, but they then are second place. Iron Brew Racing third, and that's them cemented in that one as well, as is GQ Motorsport fourth. Class of 97 stay fifth, with Run Flat Racing in the Acora P6, Straight Line Racing P7 and Simplay Racing P8, and they could get themselves a cheeky little off the bottom of the table for the final round of the season. Wouldn't that be nice for them?
Absolutely, yes indeed. And just watching what's going on. We're just in a practice session at the moment, so no real nothing really on the line for this. The guy's just getting a feel for the track and whatever. But I've noticed Jamie going round and round and round. He's had about 3 spins already before we've even kind of got going. So I hope he's not. Yeah, I hope he's not struggling too much, because we've got a lovely little battle for the runners-up position tonight, as you've already pointed out. So yeah, I hope he's not. Not going to have an off round tonight. But I just noticed he's been struggling a little bit in the first opening laps. But then it is a practice. He might just be finding his feet. This practice is for.
Exactly what practice is for. As Gary's in, and we say evening to Phil. Phil now in the session. We say evening to Daniel Francis, Team Prolapse, Disco McDisco Face, Joe Colclough, Smithy, Kelly, yourself in the chat, Michael Matthews, NJ's in there, Ben Parkey, Team Prolapse has entered the chat. We also say hello to Fury. Ben Parkey also mentioning about the women's volleyball's on, so he's having a wonderful time. He says in the chat. BT Targa as well, he's in the chat with us as well. So a lot of drivers, a lot of conversation already in the chat. Nice to see
good.
Already tonight as D-Biggs here has a bit of a spin. Peaceful explosion, looking like he's got some good pace. It's great to see. We've had a great audience in last night, great views, great likes on the stream, great people chatting as well. And it was brilliant to see. Let's keep this up for tonight as well. Final race of the season. We'll be back live tomorrow night as well, 8 p.m. BST, for the GT finale around Suzuka, or as the game registers it as Sakito. So we'll have to see what will happen around there. 13 drivers currently on track. We are expecting 14 with Monkey Boy turning up shortly.
Yeah. Absolutely, and great to see lots of people in the chat. Keep the chat coming, ask us some questions. Between me, Matt and Google, we know everything, so all you got to do is ask, and I'll read a bit of it, and probably Daniel Francis will read the most of it, and come back to you. So feel free, if you've got some questions, let's have them. Last round of the season, the Jewel in the Crown, the Pro Series here at Simplay. So let's have your questions, your thoughts, anything you want to say, or if you want to shout, if you want to mention, you've got birthdays or anniversaries or anything significant, put it in the chat and we'll tell the world about it.
Put it in the chat and we will tell the world about it at all. And just say, instead of me, Kelly or Google, Daniel Francis is in charge of Google tonight. He will be the Google expert to give us the facts that we don't know. As Peter just takes a few track limits saying, you see him just getting off the power and backing out of that one. Into the pits he goes. As Big Boy Braze, he may have found his feet a little bit. Dan flying, but low fuel. 46.9. Low fuel run though, Kelly. Look, 6 litres in the tank. Let's look at what some of the other guys are on fuel wise, because you see Jamie race run.
Jamie's fueled for next season, I think.
Peaceful 58 litres. So it seems that Dan may be doing a few early quali runs, as does D-Biggs. Looks like he's doing maybe a mid-race run, not a full race run, just maybe a mid-race fuel run there, as they are preparing to take battle. And is the plan for Dan tonight? His title's wrapped up, the constructors are wrapped up. Is it a case of let's get D-Biggs to second?
Well, you would think so, yes. And someone in the background, who's that going round? That was Bozzy going round. You would think so, wouldn't you? Although it looks like Dan's flying, doesn't he, with a second faster than Jamie at the moment. You would think that Daniel would do the right thing and play rear gunner for D-Biggs to get him up to the title. But hey, we're expecting exactly the same from Little Leach to be rear gunnering Gary. So there's only a couple of points between them. So still all to play for this evening. And
Rabbit Joe just broke the 48 barrier. Sorry, Kelly. Rabbit Joe just broke the 48 barrier.
He's starting to go really well, isn't he, Rabbit Joe?
Jamie comes in front of D-Biggs. He is. Him and Liam have really started to find their feet at the back end of this season. And there's that Porsche that you enjoy so much.
Yeah, I do like that. I do like it in the blue. I like the Porsche anyway, but I do like it in the blue, in its blue livery. It's really quite pretty. We do like the Porsche, although we're going to have a test session for next year's car, so we might hang the Porsche up. You never know.
Acura?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, thought so. I thought so. Yeah. Mazda, Phil, Andy, not yet set a time so far. Phil tonight, well, how bad is Phil going to struggle tonight in that Acura around here? It's safe to say the Acura is not the best on the top speed circuits. And
or the low speeds. Or anyway.
Well, yeah, you
it's probably
say
best
that.
Left in the car park.
It probably is, but Phil may find himself struggling a little bit tonight. Flying the flag solo for Run Flat Racing as they no such Apex tonight, busy at work. We saw him watching the stream last night. Hopefully he'll be here tonight as well.
Yeah,
Team ProLab,
so.
shout out for Kelly. Secured second in the championship last night. Big shout out to Matt for running an awesome league. So thank you very much, Team ProLab. So
thank you for that.
That'll be Nicky, I assume, running that account.
I would have said so, probably. Yeah, big up to my team. And I didn't. I thought about it last night in my thank yous in the chat, in the after race interviews, and I didn't. I didn't do my media thing. I'm not very well media trained, am I? Because I didn't thank the team, ProLapse, and my teammate Nicky, who's been a brilliant teammate all season. To be fair, he has really had my back. And so good evening, Team ProLapse, and love you.
Interesting to see then that Gary and Little Itch confirmed last week that they are getting rid of the Porsche. Will that be the case? We'll see next season as Monkey Boy has joined the session. I think they've not confirmed a car yet, but I think they've confirmed that they are leaving the Porsche manufacturer and going to something else. So we'll have to keep our eyes out for what happens there. Daniel Francis, rumours have it that there was some Acuras testing at Zolder last night. Indeed, there was. I'm not going to say on stream who, but indeed there was a couple of Acuras testing last night. As
who's that gone round?
I think it was Dan. It's hard to tell. They're both in the pits. D Biggs has gone second.
Yeah, I think it was D Biggs who went round in the background there. Rabbit Joe, look at him in third place. That's a good shout, isn't it? He's still there. Nobody's tumbled him yet. Let's hope he can do the same in qualifying as he's going out for another crack at it. Yeah, I heard that rumour as well, Daniel, that there were some people testing the Acuras. I think they were just in the car park with the boots open. They were just using them as skips, really. So, yeah.
I know from one driver he went quicker in the Acura than the Z4, so he says I'm definitely not touching the Z4. So that to me makes the Z4 a worse choice than the Acura.
It does, and that's why I guess we never see it. I didn't even know the Z4 was on the game.
Oh well, there we go. There we go, as Monkey Boy is in the session. Then we have 19 people watching. Guys, 14 likes. Let's hit that thumbs up button. Let's subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's get this video to at least 20 likes before lights out for race 1, round 23 here tonight. What can this man do? It's going to be an interesting one to see here. He's quicker than Jamie, just by a couple of tenths, but quicker nonetheless. Next season, Kelly, we will be on the podium every race, and the championship will be yours, says Nicky, on the Team ProLapse account. We'll edit that bit. Oh, no, wait, we're live. Now, we said Phil may not do that well in the Acura tonight. 7th place.
But
7th place.
Yeah, that's not too bad at all, is it?
Quicker than the Leachy legends and Mr. 2 times himself, Gary131. Quicker than that Buzzy Boy, Welshie, Andy and Mazda in this it's only practice. Could them boys be holding a bit of time back? Do they have more in the locker to give us? We'll wait and see. But Phil, currently, giving it his all. Now, I have done the Acura around here. I have tested the Acura around here a little bit. A 48.1 was my best, and that is good enough at the moment for P4. You know.
Yeah.
As that Buzzy Boy moves himself up to P9, then just improving a couple of tenths on that lap as we're on board DB. Are you wanting to do a lap, Kelly?
I was thinking about it. He's having a bit of argy-bargy with Rabbit Joe, isn't it? You know, this is practice, boys. Welshie. Yeah. You know, this is practice, boys. Behave. I was thinking about it. I'm trying to remember all the names. I mean, the last corner. Wow, if you don't know what the last corner's called, then you really don't know anything about motorsport, do you? Because it's obviously the world famous Parabolica. This one, as we come round here, which is the last corner of the track, as you build up for a hot lap. This is basically straights and a couple of chicanes. It's all about power, Monza, and a real power-dependent track. As we see D Biggs trying to get into Welsh's slipstream a little bit there as he moves across the track, across the start-finish line to start that race. Welsh disappears. He's gone back to the track. Bit of a wheel on the grass there. Now, brake. now, just before the 100-metre board, down all the gears through this chicane. This was put in a few years back to slow the track down a little bit, and it certainly does. It's a very slow speed chicane after a very fast long straight. Curva Grande, this one.
Yeah, Curva Grande, yeah.
Yeah, Curva Grande. As we come through a flat scat, absolutely flat out in most formulas. Under the bridge, as you just get past the bridge, hit the brakes, down all the gears again into second gear, through the left and the right. Forgot the name of this chicane. That's okay, math, don't help me.
I don't know it as well.
Lesmo 1. Through here, which is tricky on the entry. Don't run wide out onto the grass. Easily done. Lesmo 2, tuck it right into the apex. Just tuck the apex and let the car just pull itself round that. Can be really rewarding, the second Lesmo. As we come towards Ascari now, again, flat out down this straight. Under the bridge, big puddle under there last night. As we come to Ascari, just under the bridge and then hit the brakes down a couple of gears. You go left, tricky chicane this one, then right, follow the curb right round, pick up the apex on the left-hand side, run it out as far as you dare, and that's Ascari. We're on our way back down to Parabolica. It's a long lap, but it doesn't take very long because of its, there's a lot of straights and very little else. So into Parabolica, brake at the 75-metre, 50-metre board, tuck it back into the apex, let the car run out. Formula One boys tend to take a lot of track limits on this one. Don't run up on the curb, but you can run all the way out to the white line after that. And if you're quick, you'll be in the 46s. What's D-Big's got on this one? It's a 47.4. It does take him into third place.
And if you are quick, you're like Andy, who we've seen it over the course of the season, has got some qualifying and one-lap pace in his Ginetta, and he's doing it again here tonight so far. 46.8, currently back into the pits. Dan then improved on that and did a 46.5. That's put Joe down to fourth at the moment, and it's sadly knocked Phil down into 8th place. But, I mean, hey-ho, Phil still plodding on. This boy's not doing a lot tonight. Very quiet from Jamie.
Yeah. I mean, he's in 5th. Again, it's only practice, so... Yeah, I mean, I had probably some of my best laps in practice last night. I think I peaked on the first lap in the 55s in the absolutely sodden wet that it was last night. But yeah, the practice was probably my best part of the whole race, as we see a bit of that Jamie lag that we tend to see quite a lot, and I can't watch that. Sorry, Jamie.
No, Gary's gone back. Gary's gone back into the pits. 25 people watching the stream. Guys, let's hit that thumbs up button. Yeah. Let's get this video to 25 likes before the qualifying starts, as we've got 2 minutes left of this practice session. Monkey Boy not yet set time, but he is Mazda back in last week and this week, and nice to see him back, hopefully going for a full-time seat again next season. Hopefully he can make the full season as well. But nice to have another competitor that is a race winner out there on the grid. Yes, absolutely. And hoping to see him, as said, all season next year, because he's definitely a competitor, and he's a contender is what I meant to say. So would be nice to see him. I mean, we've had a cracking good season this year. We've had some real cracking good races, but I'm really excited for next season already. Yeah, it's sort of, you get through that good part of the season, and I suppose with tonight, same as last night, it's everything's decided in terms of the championships. There's nothing really. All right, there's a few places to play for elsewhere for other drivers, and great that we're going to see these battles, especially between Gary, D-Biggs and Jamie especially. But the main prize is gone. Do you know what I mean? So these boys are kind of fighting for second fiddle, and all right, for them, they want to fight for it, but next season cannot come quick enough. Calendar will be announced this weekend, but as the admins will get their heads together tonight. And there's a few changes coming to Simplay Motorsport as well. Obviously, for the drivers that are watching the streams will know that I tend to look at footage with 2 stewards. It will no longer be my decision. The stewards will be taking full control of it. 2 stewards to look at the Pro, 2 stewards to look at the Pro-Am, and then if there is any appeals come in, I will be making the decisions on the appeals as league owner, and obviously I don't race myself, so I'll be making the decision on the appeals to sort of make a stewarding process that's a bit better. 2 stewards will decide the action there, and a few rule changes coming for next season as well, a few bits to discuss, and season 4 cannot come quick enough.
Yeah, as I said, I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. For some of the restructure, and that Simplay's becoming more and more popular, which is great. And tell your friends, we want as many people involved as possible. And you're kind of forced into making some changes and whatever. And but just the driver lineup for next year, Unorthodox will be fighting his championship. Gary will be coming back. Little Leach, D Biggs, Jamie. And the ones coming up, Exmar and BT Targa, and Fury and Mazda putting a full season in. The competition. I'm really excited about it, Matt.
It's going to be a very fascinating one in the Pro, especially as the Pro's promotion relegation this year changed a little bit more, a restructure for next season in terms of trying to get the leagues at a good balance for Season 3 due to Pro-Am kind of being dominated every season it's been in so far. So we're trying to make it a bit more balanced between the Pro and the Pro-Am, so that should be more interesting to see, and maybe makes it, Kelly will win a few more races, NJ will win a couple, Don might win a fair few. You've got Welsh who's coming down and win a couple. There could be multiple race winners, and maybe that record of Fury's 13 race wins in a season may not be broken, as the session is done, and that's Welsh who's finished his time, improved a little bit, went quicker than Mazda and Monkey Boy. They've not improved on their times. Oh, Buzzy Boy, Big Boy Brazier, and Joe still out there. As Peaceful actually jumped Rabbit Joe's time in the end. So
sorry, just is that Jamie just come across the line? Yeah. And does he improve? No, he doesn't. No. I think he's saving himself a little bit, to be fair. Just going back to the Pro-Am thing, as there was an announcement made on the Facebook page concerning myself about my future, and being that I finished second in the championship, I feel like what wasn't mentioned on that statement is that also part of my own decision was that my love for commentating on the Pro the Pro night. So I think that's really important for myself to continue to be a commentator here. So also part of my decision. So they're all starting to come out pretty quickly. It's only a 10-minute session, this qualifying that we're in now, and the guy's going to want to get on with it pretty quickly.
Just short of 2 minutes a lap here by about 14 seconds. So they've got to get out to get the job done early on and straight away. They've got to make sure, though, that the cars are out and flying. Peaceful Explosion has got himself a one-place grid penalty at least. Can we bring the screen up, Kelly, that shows us what he's got while the driver's on his outlap? Because that is a minimum of a one-place grid penalty there, look. So already Peaceful putting himself on the back foot and needs to hope for a massive qualifying here to get himself back.
Got to do pole now, hasn't he?
Well, I mean, he got fourth, didn't he, in the practice, so anything better than fourth to put him around about where he was in the practice session, but that's unless Gary and Master and Jamie can't improve themselves, or any other driver for that matter.
Yes, indeed.
As everybody out other than Big Boy Brazier at the minute. And 25 people watching 17 Lights. Guys, let's hit that thumbs up button. Qualifying now. 8 minutes 45 left on the clock. And already the first driver on track is only coming out the second Lesmo. So they're going to lose about 2 minutes as they get to the start-finish line then. It's Bestie BT. Evening, mate. Evening to all the Pro Ops drivers and everyone in for that matter.
Loads of them,
says Fury. Loads of them. Yeah, plenty of rainbows flying the flag tonight. And hopefully they'll be there tomorrow night as well. I think a few of them on the track. Here he is. We've not seen him yet. But here he is. Car number 69. Will it retire? Will it be back for next season? Who knows?
Maybe. I was going to say something then I probably shouldn't say, but so I won't. So moving straight swiftly along. I haven't seen much of Gary yet this evening, but Gary sandbags in practice, doesn't he?
You think so, don't you, at times?
Yeah.
You think so. He's got to have more pace than that in the bag here in this qualifying session. I think this is where we'll see it as well, as the leaders are coming down the start straight. Sorry, the leaders. Andy and Peaceful and them guys who came out the pits, first of all, are coming over the line now to start their laps, just as Disco has came out the pit. So Disco, well, what's he going to be doing as I don't know who the car behind him is on a flying lap. We'll see maybe in a minute when the camera changes. I think it might be Andy with the sound of that tumble dryer in the background.
Yeah, in the big fiberglass box. Sorry, the 1970s fiberglass box.
Ben Parkey says the track is rubbering in. I won't say what like, but the track is rubbering in, says Ben Parkey. And Ada Bennett, for situations like last night and tonight, where there's no championship/promotion place or demotion place up for grabs, could you do a reverse grid to wrap up the season? The problem is with that is it's a lot of faffing about, and the drivers don't know about it. So it could be something that's brought in maybe in the future, Aidan, and we'll take that on board. But it's also just a bit of faffing about at times. 26 people watching, 18 likes, guys. Let's smash the thumbs up button. Let's get 25 likes before this first race of the night, because that'll be a massive target before race one.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I should do it. So from 18, 19. There you go.
Up to 19. There we go. That's one more onto the screen. Beautifully done. Andy then will be the first man to set a lap time, and currently it's the purple sector 1 of anybody at the minute through the sector times. Disco, though, did go purple sector 2, but he's obviously still on a bit of an outlap, so ignore Disco's time, as Andy now has gone purple sector 2, and no one yet beating Andy as he's coming up towards the Parabolica. And look out for the 75 metre board that doesn't exist just before the 50 on the brakes, but quickly off the brakes as well, Kelly, to carry that speed through the Parabolica. And it's how quick you're off the brakes and back on the power and round the Parabolica to get the best run out of it. As here comes Andy then. Nobody's been purple in the sectors other than Andy so far, and he crosses the line now and does a 1:46.6. That is not a bad banker lap at all.
Yeah, that's a really good start
and
a really big benchmark. Dan goes a little bit slower than that as Andy outbrakes himself, and well done, got through all the marker boards without smashing them up. Yeah, I was watching the stream back today. Obviously, you don't get to watch it while you're driving. And I'm watching the stream back today, and Daniel Francis tried that manoeuvre and managed to hit every single one of them.
He did, yes, he did.
But sorry, Dan.
Sorry for calling you out and picking you up on it.
Calling you out on that, and there's no harm done, and no rule against it. But he swept through there, managed to hit every single one, every right and left. But it was Andy making a better job of the slalom.
In Dan's defence, it was very wet.
It was very
so to get the car slowed down and stopped to turn around, and was a bit harder. Joe was actually purple through the final sector there, as Dan is currently purple sector 1 at this moment in time. So Dan flying as it stands at the moment then. Joe the fastest through the final sector. What is Dan going to do? Only needs to find a 10th so far, and being quickest in sector 1, we'll see what he's doing in sector 2 as he comes up to it at the exit of Ascari chicane. But everybody other than Jamie's done a lap time. Ignore Disco. So that's
he's going. Yeah, I saw that starting.
He was purple, pushing just a little too hard, and that may be a trip back to the pits to get a fresh set of boots on and go again. Here it is for Dan. Andy's in the pits. Peaceful's up to 3rd. Good luck from Peaceful at the moment as well. Joe back up into 5th place here. Gary up into 6th. Again, the top 6 covered by just under a second here. So good stuff. Phil, a 48.4, so he's quicker than Big Boy Brazier. And I tell you what, the Acura, hey?
Nakura, hey.
Mid-pack.
Has he been cutting all the chicanes?
He's got a tow rope on the back of Andy's Ginetta that's done a 46.6. So he's towed Phil along, I reckon, there. Can Phil improve 9/10 to get Gary? Possibly not. But hey, the Acura, low 48. Cracking job, Philip.
Absolutely. Fair play.
As Peaceful, I think improved a little bit there. He was quicker sector 1 last time around. Phil has actually gone purple sector 1 this time around. So hello. What's he going to do now then?
He's obviously pulled the motor out and put a Porsche one in it.
Well, I don't know why he was purple sector 1, because he was 6 seconds down. So that lap, not where we want to be. Look at that Bozzy boy struggling. 2 seconds off the leader, and down in 13th place, not where we used to see him. Little Each at the minute, not where he should be as well. He crosses the line and goes P7, so just bumps Phil down a place. Jamie though. Jamie.
Well, yeah, Jamie's well down. Gary's not exactly setting things on fire, but respect to Rabbit Joe and to Peaceful. Both doing a stellar job. Peaceful really capitalising on the power of that Mercedes, because that thing is quick.
Sorry, Kelly, as we speak about Jamie Brazier, he just went purple sector 2 before Unorthodox took it away from him. So Jamie then looking like he may be on a better lap. I don't know if we can catch the end of that one, but he's able to. Here he is then coming through the Parabolica. Disco was quickest through sector 1 this lap as well. Dan purple sector 2 now, so we'll have to jump to Dan and then Disco. But is Jamie going to improve on his current 9th place at the minute? He does, but only 7th.
He does, but it doesn't go hugely quick, does he?
Disco across the line in front of Dan. Any improvement from him?
Yes,
goes 8th.
up to
Dan
8th.
across the line loses all his time.
No,
that may have been his outlap
probably
from the pits, I reckon.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely, and he's probably on the hards, and he'll probably go another lap.
D-Biggs,
maybe
purple sector 1. So D-Biggs flying through the first sector then, and track rubbering in, and the warmer. Oh, we've lost Jamie. Now, can he get himself back in before the... It doesn't matter about the 2-minute marker on the online championships. You can get yourself back in. Can Jamie get back in? He may be starting at the back of the grid, but to get himself back in will be important, and that for Jamie is terrible because his Q1 average, P2.
Yes.
Bringing the averages out now, Kelly.
Even if he can get back in again, he's going to struggle to do any better, isn't he? Jamie's back in. I say he's going to struggle to get out and do anything from there now, isn't he?
Here we go. We've got a question in, Kelly. You sat down to commentate, but need food. What is your go-to takeaway? Chinese.
Oh, Chinese for sure.
Chinese,
absolutely,
definitely.
Without a shadow of doubt, and all day long and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Rabbit Joe here, still the quickest through the final sector, and is that D-Biggs has not improved his time there, so lost all his time in the final sector then. Andy's just gone quickest through the final sector, but what kind of lap is he on? Joe looking quite good value for his money as he comes back into the pitch. Jamie did get in. Now, he won't have time to do a lap, so that will put Jamie 14th place, and that average of P2 for qualifying 1 this season has just put himself P14. It hasn't ruined his average. It stays at 2nd place. So that's how good a job he has done all season. And Rabbit Joe, Little Each in the pits. They will not get another lap in here, but Andy will. And he's up on his time through Sector 1. Purple Sector 1. Dan, Purple Sector 2. Let's cut to Dan. We'll come back to Andy in just a moment as he's crossed the line and lost it all in the final sector. So Dan can't get that one done. Back to Andy then. Purple Sector 1 at the minute. Oh, well, there's that gone.
There's a couple of tenths gone there.
There's that going to be gone then.
He's where is he? On his way to the Ascari chicane. This is a tricky. There's a couple of tricky bits on this track. This is one of them. The entry's tricky, the middle's tricky, the exit's probably the best bit, but it is really easy to run it wide in a lot of them. Qualifying session is over, so all those that are on track will get their last go. Has Andy backed off a little bit?
I'm not too sure. There is a car in front of Andy that is on his final run, but we won't be able to see who that one is, and we'll just have to keep our eyes on the leaderboard if it is a car that's quicker, as if Jamie disconnected at that time to not get an extra run in. Jamie struggling in the internet, not helping there, and I didn't see any movements on the leaderboard. It was Welshie, so he will then qualify P13. Liam down in 12th, not the qualifying for Liam in this one tonight, as Andy crosses the line and doesn't improve on his provisional pole at the minute. That is D-Biggs just behind. He goes to the pits, doesn't improve on his P4. Peaceful
Dan's
then.
Giving it up.
Yeah, Peaceful's at the
Andy's
Lesmos. Couple of corners, couple of cars just in front of Peaceful.
Yeah, who's in front of him? Do we know?
I think Dan's one.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, Dan is one.
Is Dan on a quicker lap?
In the middle. Well, according to my phone, purple sector 1 and green sector 2. So let's see what he could do. There is a car in front of Dan, and that is Disco or Mazda. Well, they've stayed 7th and 8th, so they've not improved. Can Dan improve then? He does. It goes pole by 0.2 of a second. Now that's Disco in the background. Can Disco do anything on 8th place at the minute? No. Goes back to the pit, stays 8th. Peaceful Explosion, and the only man on a lap so far. Can he get the job done? He's currently P3. Phil's gone up into 9th at the end of that one, so great job from Phil. Little Each then will qualify P10. Monkey Boy down in P11, not where he'd have wanted to be at all. Disco then will be 8th. Mazda 7th. Can Peaceful do anything about that P3? No, he stays P3 in the end. But Dan gets his 3rd pole position of the season. Biggs will start 3rd, though, because of Peaceful's grid penalty then. So Peaceful will start P4. Not bad for him. Andy, though, will line up 2nd on the grid, and Gary will line up 6th. Rabbit Joe, great P5 for Rabbit Joe. Top stuff from him. He'll be absolutely over the moon with that one. It's then good Gary 6th, Mazda 7th, Disco in 8th, with Phil 9th, Little Each 10th, Monkey Boy struggling in 11th, Liam struggling in 12th, Welshie 13th, and Big Boy Braze, who it says he didn't set a time, he did. And just he was on a really good one, ended up disconnecting, so it all got wiped out. And he has to
Jamie.
Yeah, he has to rebuild in this race. But Dan, great lap there at the end for Paul. We say a great evening to it. JR Sim Racing and Xmart as well. Pros have it easy tonight. Where's the rain, says Xmart. Don't let us down, says JR Sim Racing. Don't let us down, Disco, says JR.
Yeah, funny enough, Xmart, the rain's dried up. Would you believe that? Yeah, you would have thought yesterday that it would be flooded for weeks. It rained so much yesterday, but apparently not. It's all nice and sunny here now. And Aidan Bennett just really making me really quite hungry now.
Yeah.
Chicken curry, salt and pepper chips. They're so large, man. Salt and pepper chips. Yeah, could you stop now, Aidan? Please, because you're really making me quite hungry. And yeah, I'm not going to eat anything more this evening. So, yeah.
No, I had a nice chicken pasta tonight. So
Nice.
That was quite nice. Yeah.
Lovely. Very nice indeed.
Yeah.
Very nice indeed. Did you do that, or did
No, Beth did that one. I'm cooking tomorrow night. I'm cooking tomorrow night.
Say hello to Beth. Where's she in the chat?
I don't know.
What's
Where is Beth in the chat? Not quite sure. Where is Beth in the chat? So we'll have to wait and see. Yeah.
Where is she? Where's the support? Really?
Well, she supported you last night. She was there last night.
Yeah.
Kelly.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about tonight.
Doesn't turn up for Gary anymore. She's a KLF 900 fan. Yeah.
There you go. Well, it's understandable, isn't it?
Well,
you know?
is it?
Yeah. She's always been keen on a bit of a runner-up. So yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
It looks like we're all ready and synced up to go here then for the first of two races tonight, the final two of the season, and huge battle for second place in the championship. Who will get it? Oh, it's Dan on pole. It's green here at Monza, and it's a great start from Unorthodox in that Porsche. He's got away so well, but look at Rabbit Joe. He's also got a great start. So's Gary, just taking to the grass to get around D Biggs. They're side by side coming down towards turn one. Joe though up into P2 and already has a great start. Bit of a rub from Gary there as they all pile into turn one, and Gary has snuck himself into third. Andy is right down into seventh place. He's lost out massively, but what a start from Joe and Dan.
Absolutely good start from Dan, but we expected it. He's a champion, but Rabbit Joe had an epic start, made up 2 places, just had the absolute jump on the rest of them. Let's see if he can hold on to it. He had a bit of a run with Gary.
He's had a look at Dan there, and he's gone straight on at the chicane, and he had a huge look at Unorthodox. Braked so much later. How Dan has got away with not being rear-ended there, I don't know, but it's put the champion versus champion battle on the table here, and look at it, 2-time champ versus brand new champ Gary v Dan, but Joe got away with not running into the back of Daniel there.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to watch it back on the stream because the stream's a little bit behind from what we're actually saying. Oh yeah, you're quite right. Oh, Joe had to get right out of it, didn't he? He was going to T-bone Daniel right in the back of his engine cover, but he got away with it. And Rabbit's gone down a few places, but he's kind of still in the hunt. But look, old rivals here. Gary's all over the back of Daniel as they come down to the Parabolica for the first time of asking. But D Biggs is there in third, Disco in fourth, and where's Jamie? What did he do? Only went up a couple of places off the start.
Yeah, it's only up to P12. Now, who remembers back to season 1? Gary 131 in the wet, round the outside of the Parabolica on AH for the win on the last lap. Me and Andy absolutely screaming at the top of our lungs. Can he do it again tonight? The two Iron Brew Racing boys. Final race together, is it? Because Leon wants the Mercedes and Jamie doesn't. So is this their final hurrah in that Audi tonight? They are struggling to get past the Acura in a straight line. They are really struggling to get past Phil. And I think Phil may hang on to that one. No, he doesn't. No, they hang on to that. Well done, Phil, at the end of the day for that one. Joe's now fifth. Andy lost out to Mazda at the Parabolica as he ran wide. Let's see what these boys can do. Peaceful, he didn't get a great start. Look, down in 8th place from 4th on the grid. He went backwards a little bit and has Little Leach on the back of him as well. 27 people watching the stream. Guys, let's hit that thumbs up button. Let's get 27 likes for the end of this first race. That'll be brilliant. Phil attacking. It was overtaking something. He had to back out of it though. Peaceful's dropped it on his own. The Iron Brew Racing boys are side by side. Peaceful down to 13th place, lost it on his own, but the Acura looked up the inside of Little Leach's Porsche here, and hello, Phil's feeling racy tonight.
Yep, got a bit of lag going on with him, and he is feeling racy, and finally found the second gear in that Honda, and it seems to be flying at the moment. But Dan has seemed to have broken away a little bit from Gary now. Gary's got D Biggs all over the back of him like a cheap suit, and Disco in close company as well. As these guys fight for the podium positions, D Biggs needs to be in front of Gary.
Oh, Phil in the background, he's just had a huge wiggle and squeezes between the two Iron Brew Racing Audis and avoids them there as Welshie as well. Manages to avoid Phil. Can he get it turned around before the Mercedes-Benz get there? As Monkey Boy has dropped it out of a Ascari as well. We got rain? Is it raining? Looks very familiar to last night. What a shame.
Very familiar.
What a shame. Mazda here on the back of Audi, the Ginetta, looking to get by. Is that D Biggs getting past Gary, I think, further forward as well? They're definitely side by side. Indeed it is. And here comes Disco. As Gary pulls out, he can't do it because Disco's there. And Disco into turn one, gets both places. Great manoeuvre. Gary looking for the undercut on D Biggs, can't get it done. But what a job from Disco McDisco face. Great driving from these three, Kelly.
Absolutely, and reminiscent of Fury, what Fury did on me and DJ Phil last night, but he did it in the wet. But great move from Disco, got the double toe off the pair of those two fighting and managed to capitalise. Great move. But D Biggs has got, he can reach out and touch Disco, and he can reach back and touch Gary at the moment. Loads of battles on track this evening, which is great racing, but don't know which one to look at first, to be fair.
Don't know which one to look at. Every battle's up and down the grid. Fury asking what's been my favourite Porter Pro this season. I'll have to get back to you when there's a bit of time to talk. D-Biggs, I think, was losing. I think he dropped it and Gary finished the job off, if you ask me. He looked like he got over the curb on the exit of the second Lesmo. Evening to Tony, Fury's granddad, in the chat. But D-Biggs definitely lost the rear of that car on his own there. I'm just watching back to see. But I think Gary finished the job off there. Jamie trying to get past Little Each. Mazda trying to get past Joe, as Joe has now lost out to Andy, and Gary loses a chunk of time to Disco in that one. Has to get back on the pace. But is that second place in the championship wrapped up for Gary? We'll have to see then. As Little Each round in the background, Jamie, Liam, Disco, but D-Biggs has to avoid. Here comes Welshie as Little Each tries to get away again and go. Welshie then picks up another place, and the Acura, well, he might be back on the back of Little Each looking in just a moment. Gary then has a huge chunk of time to make. No, what's happened to Disco? What has happened to Disco?
Disco's dropping.
Oh, we've lost Andy.
Disco's going slowly.
Andy's disconnected.
So's Rabbit.
We've lost Andy from this race then. What has happened there to Andy in this one? Not what you'd want to see, but Mazda now back on the podium. Disco was on his own in front of Gary. Must have dropped it at the Parabolica. Joe also looked like he'd had an off. Did him and Andy have a collision somewhere, but Mazda's got his way through. And I'm not sure where Andy's gone then, but hopefully we can get him back for the second race. Yes,
indeed. It's all going off. We've got, who was it? Fury asking what was the best part of the season. Well, it might be the last 4 laps, to be honest. It's been chaos so far.
It might be the opening to tonight. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, it has been. I mean, we've started to settle down a little bit now. Disco and Rabbit were really slow. What happened to them?
Andy's PS4's just turned off.
Oh, no, that'll do it.
Oh, Joe, onto the grass, out the exit to the second chicane, all over the gravel then. Hopefully Andy then can get back for race 2, and he can get some good points. 29 people watching, 23 likes. Guys, let's smash the thumbs up on. Brilliant viewership tonight. Brilliant likes as well on the stream. Great chat in the comments as well, as Little Each out wide as well. She defending very hard there. Peaceful's got himself past that Bozzy boy. Phil's now down to 12th, and Little Each gets the run out the second Lesmo, but does he? Because he's on the grass and has to get back out of it to get on. Evening, Matt and Kelly. Evening, everybody. Says the wall. Evening to the wall.
Hello, the wall.
Welcome to you here. That's unlucky, says Team Prolapse in relation to Andy, I imagine. More drama than the Hungarian Grand Prix, says Ben Parky. Little Each under braking. Really all over the place. Welshie all over the Ascari chicane, and how is he not at the back of Little Each here? He's got away with one as Craig. Wow. Ascari chicane, wet or dry, seems to be the trickiest part of this calendar we've had this season.
Absolutely, and I mean, it was horrendous last night. We were rolling through it in the wet. The Pro-Am guys, myself included, were rolling through it at a walking pace last night in the wet, but seems to be catching the Pro boys out in the dry as well.
Yeah, the pit window, should I just say? Sorry, Kelly, someone's just asked the pit window. It is lap 5, same as the Pro-Am night. So lap 5 pit window's open this lap for anybody who needs to pit. Sorry, Kelly.
No, not at all. What was I on about?
Ascari.
Ascari, yeah. And the funny thing is, Matt, probably, I mean, this has got to be the most popular track on the game, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you can almost guarantee you go into a general lobby, you can find GT3s at Monza reasonably easy, you know. So you know, we all know this track really well. But there's a lot of mistakes tonight.
A lot of mistakes, Tan. And I tell you what, there's more mistakes at the Ascari chicane than what there was at the corkscrew last week. 2 weeks ago.
Laguna,
Laguna.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, hey, all those pro boys who are watching, I think we made a pretty good job of it last night, boys. To be fair,
because
this.
Who's that off? That's Little Leach. Little Leach is
round.
off. Liam, the first man into the pits, he comes in straight away. Then, so Liam, the first man in at the end of lap 5. Oh. That might be why.
Damage. Yeah, damage. On just the start of lap 5 for Dan. He's registering on.
Oh,
Liam's
no, it's Liam's lap 4, so Liam's going to have to pit again.
Yeah, but he had significant damage. That doesn't work in pro, does it?
No, pro.
That's a pro-am rule.
Yeah, that's a pro-am rule.
Yeah.
We changed it to try it in the pro-am. Liam has got to pit twice, otherwise he'll face a 30-second penalty at the end of this race. And he's now a lap down to Dan. It's Dan from Gary from Mazda. Mazda gaining on the back of Gary. You see in the background there, Mazda trying to keep up with Gary. And it'd be great to see Mazda back on the podium as Liam in for a long stop and has got to stop again later on. D Biggs is now the first driver in for his pit stop.
D Biggs. He needs that pit stop. He's got a lot of recovery to do now. As we see, Mazda is gaining on Gary. You'll always see him come closer in the low-speed corners, in the chicanes. You get that yo-yo effect where the car gets closer and then further away because of the brake and the acceleration, of course. It's all just physics, really. But you can see Mazda is catching him, you know.
He is catching him. Couple of tenths quicker last lap. Monkey Boy as well is in the pits. And Gary, what happened there? Just
right out.
Just jotted in the notepad for Monkey Boy pitting and missed that one.
Yeah, he just hung the back end out, held on to it, but lost himself a couple of tenths to Mazda as he's rolled up on the curb. Really tricky through that chicane. Do we remember what the name of that one was?
I don't know what the second one is. No, I did try and pronounce it last night, but I thought
somebody help us out on this one.
Better not to butcher the pronunciation than anything else.
Right, okay. It's a pronunciation
I reckon
problem,
so.
Is it?
I think so.
Right,
Mazda then getting right up to the back of Gary towards the Ascari chicane. Can he get that slipstream down towards the Parabolica? Liam. Mazda, huge wiggle.
Through Ascari.
Has to get on the brakes.
Exit.
Well, that's ruined his chance of getting in the slipstream and getting on the back of Gary. Liam has only just came out the pit lane and has lost a lap to everybody pretty much. That may be his race done, and he's still got to pit again, so he may have to look at race 2.
Yes, so that's his race pretty much ruined.
One bloke we need to speak about, though, is Jamie's up to 4th from the back of the grid as Gary has decided to bring it into the pitch. Jamie, though, up to 4th place from the back of the grid. Clearly, on a bit of form at the minute in this first race. The fire burns bright in Jamie to make sure he can maybe get that second place in the championship.
Yeah, reasonable stop.
Yeah, good stop.
Reasonably good. Yeah, the pit stop glitch was put out for everyone to have a go at now, so everyone can try it. I did a 1.3 second stop last night, which was good. I was happy with that.
Look at Nicky in the chat team. Phil and Welshie very side by side as the Acura just overtook a Porsche in a straight line. I don't believe it.
Yeah, I cannot bolted on that, Welshie.
Fury, do you remember when you said what was my favourite moment? That right there.
That was it.
That one.
The Acura overtaking something.
No, Sooty. My favourite moment. Sooty, soft tyres, Sugo in the wet. P2 in qualifying. That was probably one. That or Gary and Dan at Silverstone.
Gary and Hockenheim, they were good as well, weren't they? Fighting as well.
But I think Silverstone was that little bit closer.
Silverstone was epic. It's funny you should say the Sooty Apex's soft tyres in the wet. I tried that one in practice this week with Monza. I tried to go out on wet tyres, crank the pressure right up, went out on on slicks in the wet. And couldn't even get round half a lap. So
Kelly, mate.
However Sooty did it,
and if Sooty's watching, there are drivers, Kelly, and then there are screwdrivers, my friend.
Absolutely, and I think that's really rude to call Sooty a screwdriver. So,
know, there's only one driver here between you and him, and that's you. We all know that one.
Well, that's rude. Do you know I'm a runner-up? Do you?
Hey, same
Did
as
you
me
know
from
that?
GT5s. We're all in the same category.
Hey,
As well, she's lost the car
she
coming
goes
through
round, yeah.
the Ascari chicane. And I tell you what, this race is really ebbing and flowing in this one. And it's becoming a bit of a... It's a good race. There's a lot of mistakes at Ascari tonight. And... Hey, you Pro-Am lads had it wet and made mistakes. These boys have got it dry, so give yourselves a pat on the back for last night. Peaceful as well into the pits. Disco's looking like he's got a bit of a long stop. Is he being held? Oh, he's being held because of Peaceful explosion coming down the pit lane.
Yeah, that might be it. Considering they can
Peaceful's
drive
had a good stop. Peaceful's away. That's been a cracking stop.
He's got the idea of the glitch, that's for certain, sure.
And how rude
Yes,
rude of the BMW team to not allow Disco to go when Peaceful just drives straight through him. How rude.
Straight through him, how rude. Incredibly rude. Are these guys on manual pit stops, or they
no, manual pit stops for these boys.
I think Pro-Am should be manual as well, personally, but there you go.
Team Prolapse, nothing at the wall saying Team Prolapse, nothing better than after a hard day watching the action with Matt and Kelly on the mic.
It's therapy, man. It's therapy.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. So how's Phil getting on? He's up into 5th, and I'm going to use one of my Davisisms and say, sun shines on a dog's arse some days. Look at it. There it is. In 5th place. In 5th place, in all its laggy glory.
Very anti Della Rod Gia. So very anti Del. I'm trying to pronounce the second chicane. Daniel Francis is doing it. So very anti Della Rogia.
The Valianti della Rodri. No, whatever.
It's first the second chicane.
Sorry, second chicane.
See, second chicane, I think, because it's after the Curva Grande. I think it's the one we wanted to know.
Yeah.
Here
So
comes
what's
Gary.
the first chicane called?
First chicane.
First chicane.
First chicane, Curva Grande. Second chicane.
First chicaneo, firstio.
Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2, Ascari, Parabolica. They're your corners.
Yep. Yeah, we all know the best ones.
We do.
Rabbit Joe having a crack at who's that going round Jamie?
No, that's Liam. He's lapping in a lap on Liam Gamer. So that Buzzy boy staying out the way. And teammates of season 1 and 2, Liam behind Joe now as Phil brings himself into the pits at the end of lap 8. So a few drivers just starting to get themselves into the pit windows, into the pit stops. And Team Prolapse, very kind. They are brilliant on the comms. Work really well together.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
we got the hang of it, haven't us?
Yeah, you know.
We've been practicing for a little bit.
This isn't our first rodeo, if you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
End of lap 8, 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Now, fun fact for you, season 1, Welsh actually got disqualified for speeding in the pits in the Pro-Am here at Monza. Well, he's now got himself a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so hasn't learnt his lesson from last time. Dan checked out front, he's 9 seconds ahead of Mazda, but Gary is technically net second place. Has Mazda done enough over Gary to gain that advantage by doing the overcut? Dan as well still going long on his strategy at the moment. Will he try an undercut? Well, Mazda think about an undercut. Will Jamie think of undercutting Mazda? It's all a bit... it's just all sort of panned out a little bit, and this is where the strategy's starting to come into this race, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. You say about speeding in the pit lane. I got disqualified from my very first sim race, which wasn't on this channel, was over on Motive. I got disqualified in my very first race for speeding in the pit lane at the Algar. I think I came into the pit lane at about 90 miles an hour.
There we go. There we go then. And all my discussion about other drivers thinking of undercutting each other, no, they've all decided to pit on the same lap. So that's that out the window. Dan
being held very long.
Dan had a very long pit stop there, and I wonder if that's because Jamie and Mazda was coming down the pit lane. Mazda's gone pretty much the minute Dan left, so Mazda could be a bit closer to Dan than the 9 seconds he was before he pitted. Rabbit Joe leads this race. Now then, with him being held long, Gary is already up to speed here.
Exactly.
I think Gary could take the lead of this race, and he has done. Gary 131. The undercut for him has worked a treat. Unorthodox being held. He has lost so much time to Mazda and Gary.
Yeah, Dan with it all to do. He built up that really good lead and had it taken away from him in the pit stop. Shake and Bake are normally really good on their pit stops, but probably had to be held for a Mazda in front of him. So, Dan loses out badly. So he's going to have to go and do it the old-fashioned way. He's going to have to go and catch and pass him.
Liam into the pit stand, so he's now done his pit window at the end of lap 9. So he has done what they're all saying, brought himself into the pit. So Good job there for Bozzy to not get himself a penalty. Joe, though, leads this race by 6 seconds from Gary 131 at the moment in time. Joe...
let's give Joe some airtime as he's in the lead.
Someone in the chat, has Joe pitted? Because I've not jotted him down, and him and Little Each are the only two I've not seen pit. If I've missed that, please tell me if they have pitted or not, because I may have missed that unless Joe is just unless Gary, Dan, Mazda and Jamie was just that far in front. But Joe, you don't want to be out there.
Deep in Ascari.
Yeah, you don't want to be out there. Liam having another long
real
pit
harm
stop.
done. But he's got, I don't know, maybe he did pit early, but I was just looking at Hayley and she said she doesn't know, she didn't see it. So,
right.
Has he stopped? Has he not stopped? That's the question.
So maybe then he fell that far behind Gary, Dan, Gary Unorthodox Master and D Biggs. No, well, there we go. That answers our question. Look, he comes into the pits now, so it's just Little Eats, the one we think hasn't pitted. Liam still in the pits. He's having another long stop.
Oh.
And it's Silverstone round 3. You saw it twice that night. It's Silverstone round 3. Here we go. Unorthodox versus Gary 131. Peaceful Stepdad. Gary Amazing says Peaceful Stepdad. BT Target. Matt and Kelly are legendary on the comms.
Thank you. Thank you, mate. We are good at it, aren't we?
We ain't sweet and sticky for nothing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And this is why I've given up my position in Pro, to stay right where I am here. Hey, better to be a legend of a commentator or last and not seen on the stream.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. Dan, then. These two are 4 seconds ahead of Mazda. So Mazda gained 5 seconds through the pit stops on Unorthodox. Biggs on the back of Big Boy Brazier here. And this, don't forget...
Having a look.
This, don't forget, is all for second and third in that championship. Jamie only needs 2 points on D-Biggs. D-Biggs needs 2 points on Gary. Gary wide out the first Lesmo. And Dan, it's too short a run from Lesmo 1 to Lesmo 2 for Dan to have a look. He was never close enough. Now, though, get a run. Gary's not had a good run through Lesmo 2. And now Dan can come around the outside of him.
Right round the outside of him.
And that is not Silverstone round 3. What has he done there?
Gary just left the door wide open and, well, put the welcome mat out and a pair of slippers for Daniel, really.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just gave that away. So,
I tell you what.
As you said, the championship second place runner-up position is for grabs. Now, Gary's in prime seat for that at the moment, up in second place. But these guys are both in for it as well. So these are fighting for proper positions, these two. They're not just messing around towards the end of the season.
Oh, no, definitely not. They're all fighting for positions with Gary as well. And I tell you what, who left the milk and cookies out for Unorthodox here? Because he's came like Santa Claus, and instead of leaving a few presents, he's robbed Gary of 5 more points.
Oh, great analogy, Matt.
Cheers,
that was
bud.
fantastic. I enjoyed mine with the door open and the slippers out and all the rest of it. But yeah, good comeback, man.
Cheers, mate.
God, we are really quite good at this, aren't we?
Tim
Legendary.
Harvey, if you're watching.
Who?
Tim Harvey, if you're watching, bud, just recommend us.
Yeah, sorry, Tim. Lovely to see you.
Yeah.
And all that.
Yeah,
look out. We're after your job. We get rid of that Paul O'Neill. He's nerd. You know what I mean? He's nerd. Yeah.
Big Boy Brazier.
I'll do Steve Ryder's job. I'm quite happy to do that. Do you know what I mean? I'll just front the show. I'm good with that, to be fair.
I'll be Louise Goodman then. I can stand in the pit lane and just hold the microphone and interview drivers.
Yeah, I could do that as well.
Pair of heels. I bet she wears a pair of heels. I'll put a pair of heels on if what the job requirements are. I don't mind. Big's here though. Big's here though. Really having a look on the back of Jamie Bray. I'm going to miss this.
A lot of bangles. There's going
to be a month of no sweet and stick in your box, bar maybe some fun events that we might be doing together. I am going to miss this one. Oh, Ben Parkey, there's one. Look, Dan the postman. He delivers. Hey.
Oh yeah. Who's that in the background? Was that Disco? Disco having a bit of a moment, or was it Mazda? I think it was Disco.
I don't know. Mazda's
slow.
Yeah, he's a bit slow, and Jamie and D-Big's looking on the back of Mazda. Big Boy Brazier pulls out now to have a look.
Around.
He's not going straight for it. This all matters in terms of getting ahead of D-Big's in the championship. Oh, and Mazda with a bit of a wiggle there on the curb as he brakes. Oh, D-Big's! He's lost it! At the beginning of Ascari, he's gone around, and is that second place gone for Biggs? Dan said he was willing to help him off of air, but, well, there's no helping him while he's spinning around.
No, that's...
It's
tumbling away for Biggs, isn't it?
I'm going to have to re-mail Kylie Minogue tomorrow night because she wrote a song about spinning around, and I don't know if it was based on Pro and Pro-Am at Ascari chicane.
Mate, I was so dizzy last night. I had a headache when I went to bed.
Yeah.
The car went round so many times, honestly.
Couldn't believe it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like a merry-go-round, it really was. So D Biggs dropping right back. Mazda on the back of Jamie, not letting him go a little bit. It's got some power down that straight in that big old BMW.
The battle of the red wing mirrors. Jamie v Mazda. You know, not the fact that they're in a bright yellow and orange and blue Audi and BMW. The battle of the red wing mirrors.
Yeah, I didn't notice the wing mirrors were red until you until you said that. So
I spot these details. You see.
Yeah.
Oh, now
Absolutely.
what's happened to Dan? Because Gary got within half a second and has now lost it all. So that may have just been this battle of the
that
chicane.
might have been the chicane. Yeah, that might have been. Where are they? Lesmo
1.
Yeah, that was probably just the chicane. Chicaneo de Secondio.
Yeah.
That probably was. So yeah. I don't know why my Italian sounds more like some sort of Spanish or Mexican.
I think we ought to name the first and second chicane. Who was the goalkeeper for Italy in the Euros? Oh, there we go. We'll call it. We will call the second chicane the Donnarumma chicane after Italy's fantastic Euro 2020 victory over England. Sorry.
If you like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Italian goalkeeper or something.
I want a bit of aggression in the chat. I feel sorry for the driver, but I love when Matt and Kelly are shouting when someone is off the track. Of course,
it's great, isn't it?
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? Who doesn't indeed? So Mazda.
Oh, hello.
Side by side with Jamie round Parabolica, and you've got to say that a bit quicker, haven't you? Parabolica, otherwise it sounds terrible. Mazda's gone past him. Jamie jumps back in the slipstream. He's going to try and catch him back.
He can't catch him back, though.
Yeah, I don't think he will. Mazda had that little incident which gave Jamie the place in the first place.
Oh.
But I think Mazda's got more pace, you know.
It did look like it. That's why I kind of interrupted you there. The BMW just looked like it was pulling them from Jamie. We saw Jamie and Liam early on struggle to pass the Acura in a straight line. And, he's not going to catch the BMW if he couldn't catch an Acura. D Biggs, how much damage does he have to his car? Because he's dropped to P7 behind Peaceful and Disco.
And
he's got that Bozzy boy who's unlapping himself. And he's got Rabbit Joe who's trying to lap Liam. Now, back markers don't have to move out of the way. And Joe, bit of a tap up the rear of Liam and just braking late. And Liam, gets a tap up D Biggs as well. And Liam not having his best of nights tonight.
No, why? That's probably because before we came on air, I told Liam to put it on the podium. So, good old commentator's curse, still as strong as ever.
Oh, Joe!
As Rabbit's losing it. Rabbit. Such a good start from Rabbit Joe as well. And it's just turned messy. Although he did himself a nice little 360 there, every spin I had last night happened to be 180 degrees, pointing in exactly the wrong direction, didn't it? Rabbit Joe... damage limitation on that one, and
Liam's had a spin.
Battle. He's got no spoiler. To be fair,
Jamie and Mazda was switching places just then, as they are still fighting. As Mazda looked like he may have got back in front and coming on through Ascari, and these two aren't leaving it up to chance, are they? Jamie wants that second place, and Mazda here. Well, he's not making it easy for Jamie Brazier.
No, indeed, he's not, and rightly so. Mazda got a deep line on Parabolica, hasn't he? Right round the outside, but he's going to get more traction off the corner.
Look at the speed of that BMW in a straight line. Wow, that Audi seems slow.
It does, doesn't it? I thought the Audi was better than that in a straight line.
I did. I really did. Gary's dropped a long way back from unorthodox as well there, so not what Gary would have wanted. He's dropped well off the back of Dan, and Dan on lap 15 and 16 looks like he's well on his way. Cars are more like combine harvesters, says Ben Parkey at the moment. They are. Some of them out there are a bit battered, and Liam looks like he could be making his third stop of the evening.
Yes, indeed.
Daniel Francis Lewing's doing a great impression of me in race 1.
But again, the difference being that it was wet. I was going to say the pro boys do seem to be struggling tonight, and it's not like the last race of the season. It's more like you think they'd all be a bit more relaxed tonight, wouldn't you? A bit more,
you would.
But maybe not. So. It's been an eventful race, that's for certain, sure, and we've certainly seen there's plenty of spins tonight. So it's like a going to your local leisure centre for a spin class.
Some of the things being said tonight, you could not write them. You could not write them.
No.
As if we've got a script in front of us, but it's not. This is just all us, ladies and gentlemen, all us on the commentary box.
Why are we not commentating Formula One? Although I did come up with an interesting idea. I don't know if you remember last night when we were talking after the racing about you and me commentating on a touring car race, basically streaming the touring car race live, switching the volume down, and we'll commentate on it.
Yeah.
If that's something you'd be interested in listening into, just let us know on the chat. It could be quite funny. That
could be quite. Can't be the next one though, because I'm at karting for Not Kill, so no spoilers because I've got to record that and watch that. Jamie then losing out
I'll
so
tell you
much
all about it all the way through then.
Brilliant, thank you very much. Jamie losing so much time to Mazda. Well, hey, for the amount of text messages I got race 1 at the weekend. Oh, they're close. Oh, remember Matt Neal. Oh. You and Jamie Brazier for that matter. And I'm sat there going, nah, they're fine. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
And then Adam Morgan's interview after race 1 sat there and went, I was hoping he was going to touch each other. Like, don't you start.
Yeah. You do set yourself up for these things, my friend.
I do,
you really do. So,
and you knock them out the park every time, Kelly.
Yeah, absolutely, You bowl them up, mate. I'll hit them. No problem.
Let's go back on board Dan then. Where's Dan on track? Because Dan is coming up to win the race. He's...
Just
coming up to Ascari. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Well, that's the first one because he won't want to drop it because Gary will win the race. But let's just cut back to Joe a second and we'll come back to Dan in a couple of moments because Joe there battling D Biggs and he's going to try and look the long. I tell you what, he's done it at the
long way. Wow!
At the second chicane. Good job from Rabbit Joe, but he's got the move done. Yeah. Could Phil get D Biggs on the last lap? We're going back to Dan though. We'll find out shortly. But we're going back to Dan. It's going to be another race win for this man. He has been the man to beat this season. An early flash of the lights. 2 seasons runner-up to the 2 seasons trailing the man behind. He's number 1 this year, and he's number 1 in race 1 tonight. Round 23 goes the way of unorthodox. The 2-time champ, second in this one, and as that secured his second place, Mazda and Jamie, great battle to the end, but it is going to go the way of Mazda. Back on the podium, it's been a while. Jamie Brazier from last to 4th. Great drive from him, but he has got some work to do. Peaceful explosion after a poor start. Has dragged it back for a P5. Good job from him. Disco, what could have been for that man in the race, then he comes home P6. Joe then looks like he's going to get 7th. I don't think Phil will get D Biggs, but Joe, up and down first race for Joe, I reckon, in this one. But we'll be happy, I think, with a P7.
Got to take your hat off for his start. His start was epic. Absolutely epic.
Now, 14 drivers started, so the top 7 can't qualify. So Joe cannot qualify for this. D Biggs then will come home in P8. The Acura will be P9. Not a bad job for Phil. It beat another Mercedes-Benz again. Little Each as well. What a poor night for Little Each down in P10. It has to be said. Monkey Boy as well. Another one who's down in P11. Very, very strange night for Monkey Boy. Not seen much of Monkey Boy. In fact, he's got to drop it big time for Welshie to get past with Welshie's 10-second penalty. But Little Each will come home for P10. Monkey Boy then is on his way for P11, and that Buzzy Boy 13th and a couple of laps down, and he's battling in the mid-table battle. That's not gone the way he'd have wanted tonight, but what a first race, Kelly. What a first race.
Yeah, all action that was. Absolutely all action. So we've got one to do. Last race of the season. What they're going to be like on that one. Where does that... no doubt in just a few moments in your stunning mathematics, you'll give us some sort of idea about if we've got a runner-up I suppose there's still enough points up for grabs, is there not?
There's still 26 points up for grabs, so I imagine there'll still be enough points. Checking the fastest lap of the race does go the way of unorthodox, so a clean sweep in race 1. And you want the mathematics? I'll give them you right now. But it was Dan ahead of Gary 131. Mazda got a good 3rd place with Jamie Brazier right on his tail for 4th, hassling him till the end. Peaceful Explosion, a good 5th. He's just said in the chat, I had the pace of Mazda and Jamie, but my early spin put to bed that one. And Disco P6, again, a few mistakes for him, cost him a few places. Rabbit Joe 7th, same thing. D-Biggs P8, again, another one could have been on the podium. Phil 9th, great result, really. Kind of the first one of the drivers that's not had a chance of being on the podium, really, you'd have to say, but the best of the rest, if you will. P10 for Little Eats, Monkey Boy P11, Woshi 12th, and that Bozzy Boy struggled in P13. What will he do in just a moment? Gary then is now 14 points clear of D-Biggs in third, so still chance for D-Biggs to get this one back. Jamie 11 points behind Gary, so Gary has pretty much, you'd have to say, wrapped up second place, but the top 7 cannot qualify for the next race. So D-Biggs, Phil, Little Each, Monkey Boy, Walshy, Liam, that Bozzy Boy, and Andy, if Andy's back, can race for the second race, can qualify for the second race of the season. We'll be back in about 5-10 minutes with driver interviews and race 2, the final race of the season. Don't go anywhere.
You're the night sky trying to make me see your stars, but the dark gets so lonely. Now I see violet, I can feel silence, and the dark's all that I see. When your stars are burnt out and your heart makes no sound, I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky.
Getting hype when I aim up, elevating that game up, stepping up to the competition. Only first place, and that's how I'm living. I'm with it till they digging up my grave, eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. When I watch me elevate. All in when I show up, whole place about to blow up. Superior to that competition. I'm in first place, yeah, that's how I'm living. I'm with it till they digging up my grave, eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. When I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I
in my pocket. Golden thing round my neck like a locket. Carve your name in my mind, 'cause you caught it. You caught it. You're golden, golden. Honestly, you know it. Me under the street light right there, so I could show you. You're golden, golden. Honestly, you're glowing. Me under the mezzanine, just so that I could show you. You're golden. Yeah, you're golden. You're golden. When we meet, hold my hand in the darkness. Summer heat, bodies laid on the carpet. Eye to eye, glistening. No, I saw it. I saw it. You're golden, golden. Honestly, you know it. Me under the street light right there, so I could show you. You're golden, golden. Honestly, you're glowing. Me under the mezzanine, just so that I could show you. You're golden. Yeah, you're golden. You're golden. You're golden, golden. You're golden. Yeah, you're golden. You know it. Yeah, you're glowing, golden.
Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to Simplay Motorsport. The top 7 cannot qualify, so Rabbit Joe, Peaceful Explosion, Disco McDisco Face, Mazda, Jamie Brazier, Unorthodox and Gary 131, they cannot qualify for the second race of the evening. And the final race is, Little Each there. There's a white line, mate, to stick to on the exit of the pit lane. And he's crossed it early on. Bit naughty, that.
Daniel, I'll have a word with you about that one.
We're going to go through the Drivers' Championship very quickly then. Unorthodox 71 points clear of Gary 131. Not that that one matters. Gary 11 points clear of Jamie, 14 clear of D Big. So Gary pretty much looking like he's going to join the runner-up club and be second place in this championship. Little Each then is a fair way behind. Peaceful still in 6th. Monkey Boy still in 7th. Disco in 8th. Andy in 9th, but lost a few points to Rabbit Joe there through not being able to complete that one. Joe in 10th. Liam 11th now. Sooty down in 12th. Phil up to 13th. Emo Guy down to 14th. Welshie 15th place. Can he get 9 points to get himself out of Emo Guy? Mazda's got himself on 31, but he stays 16th place. And going into the final Constructors' night, final Constructors' Championship points of the season before the end of this, before the last race. Shaker Bake lead by 130. Leachy Legends, Ivory Racing, GQ, Class 97, Run Flat Racing, Straight Line Racing, Simplay Motorsport, who cannot get off the bottom of the table. Now, they cannot do it. Only 46 points up for grabs, so that one is not possible. But we've got the top 3 in the commentary box, and we're going to start with 3rd place first of Mazda. Mazda, great battle for that. You had some good pace, but a great battle with Jamie Brazier nonetheless.
Yeah, it was great, mate. It was honestly great, but I don't think the car had the pace at all.
You had the pace of Jamie.
That's it. The leaders were gone. I was trying to catch up, just couldn't. But then again, I think Jamie was trying to, play it safe by just beating D-Big, so...
Yeah. Now, obviously, you've got nothing to lose in this one, but a podium nonetheless, it's always nice to get a podium, isn't it? It's always nice to sort of end a season with a podium and still show that you've got that pace in a car that really may not do as well around here.
Yeah, it's always nice to get the podium, so, yeah, good one for the team. Shame we can't get off the bottom, but hey, no, that's my fault.
Well, best of luck, mate, in race 2.
Yep, cheers.
We've got Gary 131 as well in the commentary box with us, and Gary, that looks like second place has gone in your way now.
It's not over yet, mate.
Oh no, but Jamie and D-Big seem to struggle compared to yourself. 14 points. It's one hand on that second place, surely.
Yeah, we could say one hand. I've got to make a few alterations. The car ain't very good in the straight line, to be fair. I've been doing a lot of testing in the car for next season, so probably my own fault.
You got the jump on Dan in the pits there, and that seemed like a very good move early doors. Did you just bang the laps in after your early pit stop?
No, to be fair, I just done my normal pit stop, come out and just kept my head down, and I didn't think I was going to be anywhere near him, but as I was coming out of parabolic, I see they were still moving slowly in the pit lane, and yeah, managed to get the jump.
Kelly?
Testing in the new car, you say, Gary. Have you announced that? Do you want to announce what the car is?
Not quite yet.
Would you like to? Would you like to debut it on the biggest stage on Simplay?
That's the plan, but that's not set in stone quite yet. But we're feeling quite comfortable with it at the moment.
Excellent. So you're got your eyes on the prize for next season, returning champion. Yeah.
Ooh, that will be a tough one if we do go in the car. We've decided, but also.
It's the Cora.
Hopefully not. We're hoping for a battle. The one thing I will say, and you say you haven't quite got your hand on the title yet, but on the runners-up. But Gary, all the best drivers are runners-up, mate. All the best ones.
This is very true. Congratulations last night.
Thank you, mate. I wasn't fishing for a compliment, but yeah, all the better drivers are runners-up, my friend.
Well, there you go.
Best of luck for race 2,
well
Gary.
Done,
Cheers, mate.
Better luck for race 2, buddy. We'll catch you later.
cheers, mate.
We've got Unorthodox again. Another race win for yourself, Dan, in a season that's been brilliant for you. 13th race win here at Simplay Motorsport. Tied third again with that man Fury. You seem to be chopping and changing every week. One of you takes a race win and the other one equals it straight away. But 13th race win, 7th this season. Less race wins than Jamie, but the consistency's been there to get that job done. The pace tonight has been phenomenal.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I wasn't expecting it. I really haven't done that much time in testing in Monza. I did a lot of wet testing the other night with all the Prolapse boys and really helping them out. while I could. No, it's a nice shock, to be fair, seeing that I had the pace. Andy nearly shot me in that Ginetta. Where he got that pace from, I do not know, and I take my hats off to him. That was a very quick lap time in the Ginetta. But no, happy to take another race win. Trying to help my teammate as best I can, but it just didn't kind of go our way. So just go to the final race and have some good fun.
Yeah, great fun. Now you got a blistering start, got off the line really well. Rabbit Joe right behind you though at the second chicane. There was a moment where, did you think, this isn't going to end well here?
There was a moment that I saw Joe miss his braking, and I thought this was going to be a Bottas moment. I genuinely did. But I knew I had to check up as well. I braked relatively early, thinking I could make the corner better, but I had to straight line the chicane. Gave the time back as soon as I did cut the chicane. But no, that was probably the scariest moment. And also seeing Gary pass me out the pits. I should never have repaired the damage that I had. But we know that for this race now, and just try and stay out of trouble.
Yeah, now you've got a good racing opportunity here to take an 8th win of the season and equal Jamie's tally of 8 race wins this year. End it on a high, or is the plan really now to sort of help D-Biggs as much as you can?
Well, we were talking about tactics at the end of that race and kind of where we plan things to pan out now. So it is about trying to help Biggs out as much as possible. If things go wrong, then it's just all about having fun, but it is trying to help Biggs out as best as we possibly can, get through the pack and hold Gary and Jamie up for as much as I possibly can.
Kelly, any final words?
No, nothing to add, really, to be fair. Just good luck in the next race, Dan. And you staying with D-Biggs next year for next season? Is that correct?
I believe so. I believe that's the plan. I haven't signed up yet, but I'm going through discussions with my manager right now, maybe doing a Rosberg, but we don't know yet. Right. If anything, yes, me and Biggs would return together, and Shake and Bake would come back and defend the constructors.
Okay, and there's been talk of you testing an Acura, and
I don't know where people got this rumour from. I got dared to drive the Acura. I've given it a go. It's very good at handling it, but it's really slow in a straight line. So if I advise anyone, just look at Sutty and Phil. Very top drivers, top of their level, and just drop them at the back. They do not belong down there. So people stay away from the Acura. It's not worth touching, not worth running. Just
to note on that one, then it's quicker than the Z4. So.
That's the only thing I learned. It's quicker than the Z4. That's all I learned.
Yeah,
absolutely. And any of the Pro-Am drivers want to choose the Acura for next year, go for it.
Yeah. Best of luck, Dan, in the second race, mate. We'll let you go back to it.
Thank you. Cheers.
On the back of teams for next season, one team earlier today, Kelly, announced that they are on the grid next year, and that was Piston Broke Racing. Daniel Francis with a teammate of DJ Phil, so leaving Dean Wasocki after 2 years and joining Daniel Francis. And the statement read that as the season finishes, another one looms large over us, and Piston Broke are delighted to be the first to confirm their participation in Simplay Motorsport's Pro-Am Season 4. Fielding the single AMG for most of last season, the team have managed to acquire a second one for the new season coming. Both of us racing the iconic Gulf livery team racing that Daniel Francis has trademarked ever since the team relaunched partway through the season. With the AMG Mercedes dominating Pro-Am League, an additional car will always help. Is always going to be a hot property, and the team are delighted to announce that their quick move for a double race winner, Phil Atherton, or DJ Phil as we know him, who has accepted the offer to join the team. Phil joins after 2 difficult seasons at underperforming Pepsid Motorsport and Ready Set Go, and will hope to return to the heights of Season 1. Piston Broke welcomes DJ Phil to the team and look forward to what is to sure be a competitive season. So already Pro-Am finishers and 2 drivers making their mark.
It's got to be said, that is a cracking press release, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that is some pretty bully, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely
brilliant.
And I'm looking forward to seeing DJ Phil in the Merc, and looking forward to continuing battles with Daniel. So and Phil, to be fair. So looking forward to it, and exciting. As I said, so excited for the next season. Still so much to know. We don't know what the tracks are yet. We don't know quite what the format is or whatever. But there is some exciting racing to be had. I know there is.
There is some exciting racing to be had, and qualifying here is done for Q2, and it's currently this man Andy on pole, D-Big second by a tenth, Lidleach currently third with Monkey Boy 4th, Phil 5th, That Bozzy Boy down in 6th, and Welshie in 7th place, and Andy at
Who's coming over the line
Lesmos.
first?
Not quite
Andy's
sure.
in the Lesmos. D-Biggs is out of the Lesmos.
Yeah, Biggs and Little Leach are together.
Yeah. in Ascari.
Phil's just finished because Phil's just gone third.
Yeah.
So Phil has just finished his lap. So where's Monkey Boy or Welshie then?
So that's Andy coming into Ascari. So he must be.
Where's Monkey Boy or Welshie? Because they might be a bit further forward. Monkey Boy.
Monkey Boy's further back. I do think Andy's the first.
Yeah, I think Welshie's done. So it is Andy, the first man to qualify. But Phil was the first man to finish it. We missed. He's gone P3. 4 tenths quicker than Little Each. And so far, Phil putting out a core of third place on the second row of the grid. Good job from Phil at the moment in this one. Can Andy improve on his 47.4 as he's coming down out the Parabolica? Down the start straight now. Will Andy improve any more? No. Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. A little bit. So D-Biggs in the slip of Gary, not Gary, of Little Leach, but he goes deep on Parabolica. You can kind of run out there, but it's going to hurt his times. I doubt he's going to put this one on the pole, but let's see, unless he's pulled an absolute blinder. Little Leach going to go across the line first. Does he improve? I didn't think he did.
Well, we'll have to find out now. Yes, Little Leach did improve, so it's Little Each who's going to start third. Andy then will get the final pole of the year and takes the most pole positions here at Simplay Motorsport with 7 pole positions to his name. Phil then drops to 4th, but a heck of an effort from Phil to get close to Little Each as well. Good job. D-Biggs will start 2nd place from Little Each, from Phil, from Monkey Boy, that Posy Boy Welshie. Gary then the first of the non-qualifiers ahead of Disco and Rabbit Joe. Big Boy Brazy will start 11th with Unorthodox 12th, Mazda 13th and Peaceful Explosion 14th. And that is the final qualification of the season.
So that's how they line up for the last race of the season. As we move into a little bit of a break for about a month before the new season. In the chat, Disco Face, Slingshot Racing will be making a comeback next year with exciting driver lineup to boost the chances next season. Well, that's exciting. Do you want to tell us more, Disco?
Let us
He
know
probably
more.
Doesn't. Nobody wants to tell more.
If you don't want to let us know more, make sure you do a press release so that we can...
I'm going to get Daniel Francis to write my press release.
Hey,
that was really brilliant.
That was really brilliant. That was brilliant from Daniel Francis.
Especially
Top
for 2 a.m. in the morning. That was really good.
Yeah.
You need to get to bed a bit earlier.
Good stuff from Daniel. Then we are waiting for these drivers to ready up in the final race of the season. And I tell you what, it's going to be sadly missed, Kelly, when this is gone.
Yeah, but as I said, we've got the excitement of a new season, and that's that's the excitement that we've got, and we all seem to be buzzing for it. So bring it on, isn't it? So
bring it on. Yeah, that is. Look, I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, in between that, we've still got a few other things going on, as you'll know more than I do, because I unfortunately don't get involved in the other ones, just don't have the time, I'm afraid. But GTE tomorrow night,
GTE finale tomorrow night at Suzuka, so join us for that one live on the Simplay Motorsport YouTube channel. We'll be live for 8 PM for that one again, so join us for that. And we'll also be back with a few fun events this season. 12 Hour of Bathurst is one that's rumoured, and one to mark the 1 year anniversary of Simplay. But the revs rise for the final time. And it's green here at Monza. D-Biggs did not move. Little Each, great start in between Biggs and Andy already, and that could be P1 at the end of turn 1. Phil not off the line well. Gary already looking to pressure Phil in the background, as is Liam. But D-Biggs did not move there. And Gary onto the brakes. Little Each, so takes the lead into turn 1. And who's going to come up behind? Biggs gets himself ahead of Andy, and Gary muscling his way through 8th to 4th at turn 1 and 2.
Yes, indeed, a cracking start from Little Leach. Just absolutely took off, and poor old Andy went backwards. Doesn't seem to have the measuring starts in that Ginetta. Is
that was someone wide. Someone in the gravel,
and
I think they've got it all sorted out and are okay. Gary, though, up the inside,
Gary,
and has got past Little Each and Andy. Andy Biggs.
That was a move.
Yeah, but it gives the places back then as he ran a bit wide on the exit to the corner.
And that's Rabbit Joe being hit. Was it Rabbit Joe? Yes, it was. Rabbit Joe got hit in the background and only got hit by. But
I think it was Welshie, actually. I think the white one was blue and white. Welshie. I'm just looking back at my monitor. It was Phil who was wide. Just looking back, Gary side by side really lunges on his brother, Andy Biggs, and woof. Nearly made it. Where has D Biggs gone, actually? He's dropped down to last. What's happened to Biggs then?
What has happened? Where was he? Right down to last. So that's over, innit? It's over for his second place. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he got caught out in the melee of that first lap in the chicane there. I don't know. But look, Andy's putting a move back on Gary. He's going to go down the inside on Parabolica. Can't quite get there. Oh, yes, he can, actually. There he goes. And Andy, in the Ginetta, on power, has passed Gary.
And Gary here will be wanting. It really is quite bizarre, isn't it? Liam having a better showing in this second race, up into P4 at the minute. Can he keep it there and be consistent? Good to see Liam end the season well. Dan already up to P6 at the end of the first lap, but he's still got some work to do to get past Liam and Phil. As Jamie in the background, I want to try and get that race win, or make sure Dan doesn't win the race, so that he's ended the season with the most race wins. As Gary then still trying to put the pressure back on Andy, and Andy trying to put the pressure on Gary's teammate Little Leach, and the Leachy legends ending the season as they started it on top.
Yes, indeed, and Leachy's on this one are much more like it. As Gary has a look round. Oof, look, that would have been brave just there, to be fair. But
Andy, I think, got a bit of a wiggle out the chicane there, Kelly, and Gary was having a look back to Monkey Boy at 7th place. That's Jamie having to cut the chicane. And,
there's a lot going on towards the back here, Matt.
Peaceful,
Cars
Jamie,
everywhere.
Disco, Mazda, Welshie, Joe, D Biggs further back. So a lot of top drivers towards his rear end of the pack. Dan's up to 5th now. Now he's got past Monkey Boy, and he's looking to get past Phil. But can that Porsche get the run on the Acura? Will the Acura have the inside line going into Ascari? Will Dan have to back out of it? I tell you what, Phil's still there, and he's not.
Yeah, no, he's done it. Dan's got it done. Seemed to have a better run out of the Lesmos, and got it done. So Dan's now.
Oh, where's Gary gone? Where's Gary? P7.
Oh, 7. What's he done? What's happened? What happened there?
I'm not sure what has happened there, but Gary's dropped to 7th place. We didn't see that. They've all passed him as he dropped it at Ascari again. Another car dropping at Ascari chicane. That's the norm now, I suppose. That's just the line, isn't it?
Seems to be, yeah.
Left, right, left, bit of a spin in the middle. Job done. That seems to be the racing line through a Scottish game. But Dan now up to 4th. He's side by side with that Bozzy Boy, and that Bozzy Boy was running on the podium again. Will he be able to outbrake Dan and hang it around the outside? I think Dan's got that one done. The Audi does not look a quick car in a straight line here today. And Dan
does not.
Dan tucks in ahead of Liam now. So Dan, back onto the podium. Oh, Gary!
Yeah, Gary just got onto the back of Phil a little bit too quickly, and the back end started to step out. Gary trying to make salvage something out of this race. I think he's pretty much secure in the runners-up spot, especially with D Biggs right at the back, and Jamie down there as well.
At the back as well. Oh, Gary
Jamie's had a
sending one up the inside of Phil. There hits the sausage curb.
He goes round.
Just as Phil went deep and managed to avoid Gary, Gary hits the sausage curb on the exit and goes deep. That is now Disco about to get through. Monkey Boy as well as past Gary. Gary just seems to be overdriving the car, if you ask me a minute, Kelly, and he's just going too hard.
Yes, indeed. Exactly that, my friend. Just making some silly mistakes. So again, just on the grass a little bit there. He was saying in the interviews that he was struggling with this car on pace, and he was going to make some changes. Has he gone the wrong way on the changes?
Possibly so. He looks quicker in a straight line, but is he struggling through the corners then? As Little Leach leads from Andy, then that gap's just increased slightly over the lap. Dan's now 3rd, Liam 4th, Phil 5th, Monkey Boy 6th, Disco 7th, but Gary wide at Ascari on the exit, right on the back of him. And Peaceful said he had the pace to be on the podium in race 1 in the chat. Does he have that pace to get up there in this second race and get that job done? He's currently behind Gary at the moment, and Gary looking on Disco. Last time Gary was behind a BMW going into the Parabolica, he ended up in front of it by about an inch, by a nose at the start-finish line. Well, he's not got the same kind of run on Disco as what he did on AH in Season 1, and that one was in the wet. But either way, Gary not having that sort of run at the minute. Liam having a much better showing in this second race.
Yeah, absolutely. He's keeping pace and keeping the guys at bay. It would be nice if he could make another position and bang that thing on the podium. That'd be really useful. In the chat, Daniel Francis, Kelly, £500 is my fee. Half price to you. I used to charge £1,000 per report when I could work. Daniel, let me get back to... no, thank you.
Yeah. I presume that was for the report, yeah?
For anything at £500, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but cracking job nevertheless.
Peaceful Stepdad, a lot of crying emojis in the chat, and NJ coming in saying, go on Little Leach, and go on indeed, because he's racing well so far, Craig. Little Leach, we've not seen a lot of him, and as we found out last week, soon to be a dad.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
There's a Little Leach on the way. Oh, deep bit, Brazier there is hit. Welshie round, it looks like. Jamie just got up the inside at the chicane and
he
taps.
went round again as well.
Welshie
Is
round.
that the right way?
Yeah, I think he was spinning himself back around, wasn't he? But Big Boy Brazier, keen to get up the order. Just tapping Chris in the rear there, and Welshie won't be happy with that. Dan, though, trying to get on the back of an Orthodox here already.
Yep. He's catching this lot. And again, multiple battles going on up and down track. We'll try and give you the best of the action as we can. Rabbit Joe gaining on Mazda.
Yeah, what we've missed out on is Gary getting past Disco and Monkey Boy, so he's up ahead of them two now.
Yeah, and he's got Phil in his sights now. This shouldn't take more than a straight.
He's got to take another straight look because he's
might take another one. Might take another one.
See,
but in as I say, multiple battles. Gary catching on Disco. But Mazda on Disco. Oh yeah, Rabbit Joe on Mazda. Mazda on Peaceful. Peaceful on Disco in front of Monkey Boy now.
Yeah, Disco. They're side by side. Kelly, let's just drop back to that one. Oh, Disco's tucked back in. And the Beamer has the pace over the Audi, but doesn't have the pace over the Mercedes-Benz. And Joe really on the back of Mazda in the background. Get it stopped, Joe. Get it stopped. He's gone deep again. He's done that a couple of times tonight.
Yeah. Needs to work on that braking a little bit, does our Joe. Seems to be a bit of his Achilles heel. Certainly around this track, anyway. Yeah.
Phil on the back of Liam at the moment. Has Liam just made a mistake somewhere? Because Phil is all over the back of him. And the Acura coming down into the second chicane is on the back of that Bozzy Boy. Then as Liam goes a bit deep,
makes a mistake.
Hits the sausage curb, kind of leans on Phil a little bit. Phil tried to avoid him, but couldn't.
Yeah. Place gifted for Gary, that one.
Yeah, 50-50 for me. You know, I don't think it was intentional from Liam, 50-50 on that one. But Gary up to fifth, and will soon want to clear Liam for fourth place, and may do so as that Audi just doesn't seem to have any pace. Here we go, BMWs versus Mercedes here. As Monkey Boy, Disco, Mazda, and then Peaceful. Yeah.
Peaceful. Are we going to have a change of car next year, Peaceful?
We're going to have a change of fortune next year, Peaceful. That's the big question.
A change of fortune would be nice, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be really lovely to see Mike get some better results?
Oh, it'd be brilliant to see him back on the podium and take a couple more.
more. Yeah, I feel like forever we've been kind of cheering him on, and you know, and it not happening. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, so, look at that flash of the lights.
I was going to say one
Disco.
of the Beamer.
Oh,
is it
who's
Mazda,
that?
is it?
Liam. Liam's had an incident. He's dropping down the order
backwards.
here, and it is lap 5, so he can pit if he's got damage, but he's dropped from 5th all the way down to 11th. Now, Gary was on the back of him. Was Gary involved in an incident? Not sure. Gary, though, straight away into the pits, lap 5. Going for that undercut again.
Dan's just done Andy for second place, and now he can set after Little Leach. Mr. Champion seems to be on fire, doesn't he, at the moment?
Yeah.
Seems to be on the form of his life, and ripping through the field. Just done Andy, and as I said, now setting his sights on Little Leach. This could be a win to top Fury's record of 13 wins. Dan could be moving on to 14 wins the way he's going. Not in a season, of course. Fury did it in a season. He holds that record now for most wins in a season. I think that one's going to stay there for quite a long time. That one, Matt, don't you?
Yeah, I'm quite certain that one will be here for a couple more seasons.
Yeah, with the rumoured restructuring, it should level the playing fields a little bit more, and that kind of domination will be a struggle. Certainly, season 4's not looking like any one person will dominate. You know?
No, it's really not, and we'll have to see on obviously the new drivers that may come in and see who's on the grid for next year. Liam, though, trying to get straight back onto it behind Peaceful Explosion. He's looking towards the Ascari chicane here, and he's on the back of Peaceful, as we said. Is he going to pull out and have a look at Ascari? He is, he's going to have a look, and can he be later on the brakes? No, gets it.
Slow down.
Tell you what, Peaceful were a bit slow off the brakes there coming into Ascari. Liam seemed to have to hold off the power a little bit before he could get back on the throttle out of against Peaceful. Monkey Boy's made a mistake somewhere. He's dropped down behind this group as well. Disco's now on the back of Phil. Mazda's still defending from Joe, who pulls out to have a look at the Parabolica. Andy into the pits at the end of lap 6, and Mazda will hang it around the outside, and Joe follows him through and tucks him behind. Look at the different lines from people here.
Yeah, there's multiple lines around the Parabolica, and all sorts of variations on what you can do. It's a strange corner. I was just about to talk about Ascari being a strange chicane, and it is. Peaceful was really slow through there, but it is a tricky chicane. Ascari, you can drop it on the entry, you can drop it on the middle and on the exit, as we've seen. The pro boys do it. These guys are the jewel in our crown, the quickest of the quickest.
Yeah.
In Simplay, and GT3 being the jewel in the crown, and still they lose it in the Ascari chicane. So. We've seen plenty of spins there. We've been plenty of spins.
Oh, Dan!
As we see Dan making a mistake as well.
I thought
not too much harm done.
I thought Little Leach had done the
grass.
same as Dan, but Dan seemed to get a lot worse than Little Leach did, and just, he's got away with that one. But it's so easy to just drop a wheel there and lose that rear of the car.
Yeah. I felt like he probably just followed Little Leach in a little bit. It's so easy to be focused on the back of the car.
Oh, Craig's gone deep at Ascari.
Very deep through Ascari. Very, very deep. This is going to give Dan a run all the way down to Parabolica. And, he's really, really close. Hard to see on this camera angle, but the times are saying he's through, That's
done
it,
him.
done.
Switch back in front, gets the defence on Little Leach into the Parabolica, and Little Leach now will have to use the slipstream and try and gain the advantage of Dan. Or would Little Leach here think, do you know what, I'm going to dive in for that undercut? Let's wait and see. As there has been a few people in the pits on the last lap, and none of them decide to pit, but now Little Leach will have that slipstream of the Porsche, and Dan cleverly moving across there.
Trying to break it, trying to break that toe. Little Leach a bit too far back to do it this time, so this could be win number 14 coming for Dan, but still a long way to go, only on lap 8. Excuse me.
It's not over yet, and let's not forget Gary has already pitted, so Gary has gone for the undercut option again. That worked well in race 1, we saw. Will it work again for him in race 2? We'll have to wait and see. Mazda into the pits at the end of lap 7, as is that Bozzy boy, so following him in is Liam. Mazda, good stop. Great stop there for Mazda.
Yep.
I think Liam as well got a decent stop. I think he's away as well.
Liam in and out as well.
Yeah,
these
Monkey
boys
Boy.
get the hang of these pit stops.
Monkey Boy and Welshie come into the pits, and Phil will pass himself. Gary's got past Mazda and Liam, so that's that job done for Gary. He didn't get to jump Andy, but he's only 6 seconds off the back. Andy will be wanting to jump Dan. Monkey Boy's pit stop just taking a little bit longer.
I tell you what, Little Leach hasn't. Dan hasn't dropped Little Leach at all. He's still within half a second of him. So, Little Leach having a good run on this race.
And good for Little Leach. It'll be good to speak to him in the podium as well. We'll get the top 3 of the race and the top 3 in the championship in as well, which... Little Leach wiggle just as we speak about him through Ascari and into the wall on the exit. Not the biggest of hits you'll see, but he might come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Yeah, just a little bit of a rub on the tyre wall on the way out. Ascari chicane, he dropped it on the way out, got too deep up on the curb, lost the back end, and that was how it went. I may have mentioned it, Ascari is really tricky.
Yeah, it is really
tricky.
Little
Leach comes in.
And Little Leach does come in then at the end of lap 10 for his pit. Sorry, at the end of lap 8 for his pit stop. And in he comes, and Disco still to pit, as is Rabbit Joe and Jamie. Who else? Just Dan as well, and Orthodub still the other man to pit as well. And it's going to be an interesting one to see. Good stop.
Yes, indeed.
Not a bad stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
To say he may have suffered a bit of damage on the left-hand side of that car through clattering the wall at the end of Ascari. Good stop from Little Leach.
Yep. Yes, indeed. So
Jamie's in.
Yeah, Jamie into the pits as we see Peaceful just having a crack at Maz.
Yeah. These two are both pitted. Yeah, these two both pitted. So the battle resumes for these two, and let's see that power of the Merc versus the German BMW here. And I tell you what, the BMW is holding its own at the minute. Peaceful's gaining, but very slowly. Jamie then drops back down to P10. Can his teammate get past him as well? I think Liam will get past Jamie. And Peaceful, you see there, the Mercedes just didn't seem to reel in the BMW like we've seen it at certain tracks, reel a car in.
Absolutely. We know the power, the Merc's got power, but the BMW, a good showing round here. Reasonably powerful car, the BMW as well, mind.
Yeah.
It is one of the quicker ones in a straight line for sure. Peaceful, not being able to breeze past that Beamer by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, it might have a good run now as
got
Mazda hit the sausage
it's a short
curb.
run to it's a short run to the first Lesmo, not really an overtaking opportunity. Although we've seen, was it Vettel or Alonso, somebody going side by side round there in Formula One through the first Lesmos, but not normally an overtaking opportunity.
Dan's
so
in the pits.
Getting up on the curb then.
Dan
Tit
into
for
the
tat,
pit
really,
lane.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is tit for tat in the minute. Ebbing and flowing, some may say, but Dan in the pits.
Oh yeah, but some might.
And again, longish pit stop for Dan. That didn't look his quickest that we've seen from that team. And Disco inherits the race lead, and here comes Rabbit Joe. And I think Dan's got a relatively good gap over Little Leach now. We'll see come the end of the pits. He's still got a bit of way to go, but Little Leach is coming. But I don't think, unlike Gary in race 1, I don't think Little Leach will have enough time to get past on Orthodubs. We'll see though. Oh, I tell you what, it might be close.
Yeah.
Because he's up to speed compared to Dan, isn't he? Dan's still getting up to speed. And Little Leach here, how late dare you brake? Oh, and Dan just comes across him, leaves him a car's width.
Yeah.
And just comes across him. I tell you what, any more across from Dan, and that would have been considered a bit naughty.
Yeah, that was right on the edge, that was. And Dan has been saying that it's no more Mr. Nice Guy, you know, so, hard but fair, that one on Dan, and, you know.
The gap's the same then as it was before they came into the pit, so Little Leach doing the job. The undercut seems a bit strong round here.
It certainly does, doesn't it?
You know?
And again, you know, pit stops.
Andy in the background all over the gravel. Out the exit to the second chicane, manages to keep it back on track, but that's going to have lost him some time in terms of Gary catching him up.
The whole pit stop thing, and we've explained the glitch before, and it's been explained on stream for people to help themselves to try and do it. With that in mind, are all these guys now trying to make this happen for them? Do you know what I mean? It does, actually, I think it's made the pit stops a little bit more interesting, personally.
It has, and it seems to be bringing people out a bit closer together, as Little Leach still on the back of Dan, and he's not wanting to lose much time as he takes a lot more curb through there than what an Orthodubs does.
Brave.
Very brave, but I mean, hey, if it's working for him, why change something that's working?
Yeah. Totally.
Just not able to get in that toe enough. He's just dropped back a bit from Dan over the course this lap and hasn't been able to get into that toe as much on Orthodubs to be able to get it to the line. But doing a good job nonetheless so far. Andy P5, Joe and Disco stay out on track at the minute. So Disco leads the race from Rabbit Joe. Then it's on Orthodubs, Little Leach, Andy, Gary, Phil up in P7. So a good job from Phil, but he's got Mazda and Peaceful hunting him down. Jamie and D-Biggs are now ahead of that Bozzy Boy. So Liam may have made another mistake here. He's going to have Monkey Boy on the back of him shortly as well. And Welshie down in last, but not far off the back of Monkey Boy either then. And it's all just a bit spread out compared to race 1 at the minute, but the pit stops have been done. It all seems to come back together again towards the end of this race.
Yes, indeed. So, ebbing and flowing, some may say.
Yeah.
With 5 laps to go, and Little Leach is probably the closest to a battle onto the back of Dan. Just drop into the chat. Daniel Francis saying this race needs wet, needs rain. Are you tripping? I'm still wringing out my race pants from last night. You know, it was so wet. You know, I thought I was going to drive with a snorkel.
Was the missus going to stand next to you just to make it feel real with a bucket of water and chuck it over you?
Of course, yeah. She's got one of those plant sprayers and was just spraying me in the face, like, you know, and just to make it feel realistic, you know.
Yeah,
and,
it's not called a simulator for nothing.
Exactly. Yeah, it was proper sim racing. You know, proper rain on my on the helmet because I wear full race gear to race, of course, like everybody does. You know, safety first, guys. So yeah, you know, so just had to wipe my visor from all the rain on it. Yeah, it was crazy.
Liam's lost out to Monkey Boy then. He's fell another place behind then, and that's down to P13. Not the night for Liam, but Disco brings himself into the pits at the end of lap 11. So only Rabbit Joe to pit then. And will he pit the same lap as Disco? Will he choose to bring it in? No, he's going to stay out and inherit the race lead here. So Disco with Disco Face, how good a stop can he have? He was just in front of Master and Peaceful before the round of pit stops. It's not the best of stops, you know. They're holding
it's getting
him.
Worse, isn't it?
Yeah, they're holding him. Dan Little Leach goes through. Andy's going to go through. Gary's going to go through. But let's not forget, he came out by Mazda. So anywhere near Phil, anywhere now, Disco, to get away. Yeah, brilliant. Well done. I think he may have just lost a few places there, though.
Yeah, it didn't work out really well at all, did it, for him? But that's the way cookie crumbles, I guess.
So Little Leach still trying to stick to the back of unorthodox for this net first place, if you will, because Joe still got to pit here. Gary's trying to get on the back of Andy. Phil and Mazda and Peaceful all got past Disco, Disco Face as well, as Liam now has dropped behind Welshie and lost a fair bit of time there. So Liam really struggling around Monza tonight.
Yes, indeed. Disco in the chat saying stupid repair.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, certainly a long one, that's for certain, sure.
Yeah.
And Little Leach still keeping Dan very honest, isn't he?
Very honest, very honest.
Yeah.
Well within that slipstream range here, Kelly, and well within a sort of close enough to, if he can drag that slipstream a little bit closer to maybe dive bomb into Parabolica. It's a corner you can do it and get away with it, so we'll have to see.
Yeah.
It all depends on the run through Ascari, and Dan will know that Little Leach has gained on him a little bit. And look at the different lines. Dan seems to be a bit wider through that middle part of Ascari, and Little Leach seems to keep it tighter.
Stays right off it, doesn't he? Although he picks up the last part of it.
We've lost a driver. Who have we lost?
Andy?
Well, it's not Big Boy Brazier. No, Andy's still P4. We've lost somebody. Yeah, we've lost Welshie.
Welshie, yeah, looks like it.
Oh, what a shame. Final race of the season, and Welshie then has retired from the race, and will, I think lap 11. Yeah, he'd have done lap 11. Because we were at the end of lap 12, so he would have scored points for 14th place. He'll get himself 2 points, and Joe then comes in.
Rabbit and Joe, yeah, Rabbit Joe in the pits
of lap 12. So Dan and Little Leach into the lead. Andy now goes third. Gary now goes fourth. Phil, will he take that 5th place away from him? Well, she's retired from the race, so he's in the pits. You see the dot there in the pits, the blue dot. He's retired. And I tell you what, he has been looking forward to being back in the Pro-Am in his trusted Lamborghini for a long time now. Okay, interesting one. Joe out the pits, in between Phil and Mazda, so Mazda will be right on the back. In fact, he's just got past Joe, so Peaceful will be there as well in terms of with Joe. So a little battle there between Phil, Mazda, Joe and Peaceful happening. Jamie trying to get on the back of it as well. So
yes, indeed. I'm just trying to watch these guys' lines, and when we get back round to Ascari again...
that's Liam.
That's Liam pointing in the wrong direction.
Yeah, a spin at the Lesmo. And we've lost another driver. We're down to 12 drivers now. Who's retired now?
I don't know. Disco.
Disco's retired, yes. So Disco will then get...
Thank you, Hayley.
13th place. Thank you, Hayley. Disco will get 13th place, and that's allowed Liam to get 12th, even though it's been a dismal, dismal night. He will get 12th place.
Yes, indeed. So, as I said, watching the lines through Ascari there, Little Leach taking a bit more curb than Dan, although Dan run wide on the exit. Dan knows Little Leach is there. He's starting to defend a little bit more.
Now, Dan said off air before the race he might try might give the soft tyre a go first. And I was saying that I don't think the soft tyre will last the race. I think it'll start to go off towards the end. That, to me, seems like that's happening because Dan seems a bit more cautious into the corners.
Yes, indeed. And so the closest battle on track is this one. Peaceful is within a second of Rabbit. Rabbit's within a second of Disco Mazda. They all seem to be quite static, so they're not having a go at it. But Little Leach very, very close.
I tell you, Kelly, Phil is quite... I'm surprised these boys haven't caught onto the back of Phil yet. He's doing well to hang out in P5 at the minute. Phil, 5th place. The Acora at Monza, 5th. You would not have put your money on that before this race. At all.
No. I'm surprised it got here in the first place.
The truck that brings it is quicker than the car itself, so it'd probably be better off racing the truck. But Little Leach trying to get on the back of Dan. He's just lost a couple of tanks through the Lesmos in the chicanes then. But this is where he seems to have caught... he's not going to do it that way. I was going to say, this seemed to be where he caught Dan on the last lap, but the run out second Lesmo wasn't there.
Yeah, so it's beginning to hot up again towards the end, as we said it might. Gary's now reeling in Andy for that last podium position. Rabbit Joe is still chasing Mazda. Peaceful's dropped off him just a little bit, but this battle's still going on there. Little Leach, 3/4 of a second back now. Maybe have had a different run through through Ascari, but he's catching back up as they're going to Parabolica again. And Little Leach seems to be a bit quicker than Dan, but Dan's in the way.
Yeah, Dan is in the way. Little Leach just seems to have the pace, but Dan's in the way. Gary seems to have the pace, but Andy's in the way. And And isn't that the way at Monza? Is it the slipstream, though, that's making these guys look a bit quicker behind? You know, with it being such a quick track, the slipstream really taking effect. Is that why they're looking a bit quicker? You know, if Dan dropped behind, would that make him quicker?
Sorry, mate, I zoned out there for a sec. I was trying to read the chat. Sorry, say that again.
Is it the slipstream that's making Little Each look a bit quicker than Dan? Oh, Andy.
Yeah, possibly. Andy goes straight on at the chicane.
Now that is going to cost him a place at least. Gary gets past, gets onto the podium. Disco, driving standards again, shocking by the way. He says, done for the season, race ruined and over. See you all next season. 25 points reduction too for retiring in 5 races, says Disco. Yeah, not what you want to see. Not what you want to see. Liam into the pits, and let's hope that let's hope that the incident was caused, and obviously, you know, Little Each just pushing it here. He's running wide, just ever so slightly here. That every now and again he's just pushing the limits here. And Gary Little Each then on the onboard footage into a squad. I think Dan's tyres may have shot it here, and Little Each is just pushing too hard to get past Dan.
Oh, look at the way he jumps over in Ascari there. The exit is Ascari. That's just crazy. That's crazy. You're about to be a father, man. Stop doing such crazy stuff like that. Yeah.
Look at
awesome.
Dan. Just Dan in the corners just seems to be struggling for me, but they're going to come on to the last lap, so it's now or never for Little Each. And here's a question: does Little Each have a race win this season?
You tell me. You're the stats man.
No, he doesn't.
I'm sure there's a song there somewhere.
Yeah,
you're the stats man.
He doesn't have a race win this season, so it would be his first race win. As Dan a bit deep into the first chicane look. No, he doesn't have a race win this year, Little Each. Quite shocking, isn't it?
Very hard to believe.
No, same. A fair few podiums, but third places. Took a couple of seconds early on, but no race win to his name this season. So this could be his first race win. Gary still ahead of Andy. Phil still ahead of Mazda, and Mazda still ahead of Joe. Joe still ahead of Peaceful. Peaceful still ahead of Jamie. Then it's a big gap between D-Biggs, Monkey Boy, and that Bozzy Boy.
Rabbit's having a go at Mazda though.
Joe may
he's
not.
down the inside.
He's done him.
And
he's outbraked himself.
Got it stopped.
Oh, he hasn't.
He got it stopped, but he parked it there right on the middle of the chicane.
Good move.
And nowhere that Mazda could have gone, really, without crashing through him. So, cheeky, but
Cheeky but effective. Cheeky but effective, says Rabbit Joe, and he gets that move done as the leaders then are coming up towards the Ascari chicane and are as close as they have been for the last couple of laps here, and this being the final lap of Season 3. Tell you what, Mazda's coming back at Joe here through that second chicane, but can't get it done. Into Ascari then. Final couple of corners for Little Each to get the move done on unorthodox. And look at him slide that car through the corners. It's a fascinating battle to watch. Oh, he's wide. Dan also made a mistake into Ascari.
Wide,
And how much is that going to cost Dan on the run down here? That Bozzy Boy, I think, has made a mistake at Parabolica. Gary's sliding as well. But let's go to Little Each, is lunging up the inside. Cannot make the move done. He's going to now look round the outside. Can he get that speed on Dan? As here they come for the final race win. I think it's going to go the way of unorthodox. He's been brilliant this season. Liam Pitts, but to no effect here. Dan takes the final win. Little Each just misses out. Andy, though, has got back ahead of Gary. And Gary then will end up falling to P4 after the slide through Ascari and the mistake at Parabolica. Andy third, Gary fourth. Hats off to this man, Phil. P5 in the Acura in this one. What a job for Phil to get this race done. 5th place. A flash of the lights, Phil, if you do, because that is well deserved for you, young man. No flash of the lights,
sun
but
shines on a dog's arse some days.
It does,
but
it is. We have to, exactly. Rabbit Joe P6, what a night for Rabbit Joe. Guys, get your vote in the chat for driver of the day and driver of the season while we get everybody in for the final interviews of the season. Mazda will take a P7, Peaceful a P8, Jamie a P9, and not the night for Jamie or D-Biggs, who will come home in 10th place. Not the night for them two at all. And Monkey Boy will get 11th. Liam will get 12th in the end due to a few retirements. We're going to get Andy and Little Each and Jamie in, as we hope Gary and Dan joins us back as well, as that was the podium finisher, podium and top 3 in the championship finishes. But get your votes in for driver of the day, and we'll get mine and Kelly's in just a moment, and get your votes in as well for driver of the season. Who took the fastest lap there, Kelly?
Oh, who did take the fastest lap? Little Leach on a 47.4. 47.4. I don't think there's anything better than that. So, that'll be Little Leach then, won't it? With the fastest lap.
So Little Leach taking the fastest lap. We've got the guys coming in for a quick interview now, so we'll add that one to the final standings for Little Leach then. And that one is job done then. So it's Unorthodox who takes his 14th win here at Simplay Motorsport. 8 of the season, tied that with Jamie Brazier for 8 wins in the season. But what a season it has been here. It's been an absolute cracking battle from round 1 at Spa where the Ginetta won to round 24 at Monza where the Porsche took a close victory indeed. But Dan wins the title by 83 points in the end. Oh, we've just lost Kelly. Dan takes the title by 83 points in the end. Gary then in second place, confirming that spot with Jamie third. D Biggs missing out and getting 4th place with Little Leach 5th. Peaceful 6th, Monkey Boy 7th. Andy then finished in P8 ahead of Disco 9th. Rabbit Joe will take the top 10 spot ahead of Liam in 11th. Sutty 12th, Phil 13th. Welshie then in 14th ahead of Emo Guy 15th and Mazda taking 16th spot. Shake and Bake, your constructors champions ahead of Leachy Legends, Iron Brew Racing, GQ Motorsport, Class of 97. Straight Line Racing finished ahead of Run Flat Racing, so what a job for them. And Simplay Racing will finish bottom of the table. And we've got Andy in the commentary box. We will start with Andy first. Andy, commiserations about race 1 first of all. Obviously the PlayStation turning off, not what you'd have wanted to happen. But good pace again from that Ginetta, especially in its qualifying runs.
Yeah, I really wasn't expecting it tonight. Obviously, with Monza being a power track, it was Ginetta should have really been written off from the start. But Monza's a track that I know pretty well. I've done a lot of practice around it with different cars in the GT3 category, so I sort of know what I'm doing around this track, and was able to use that knowledge maybe to counteract the car's inefficiency around the circuit. But it was a great battle there in the second race with Gary. Was gutted. My PlayStation turned off in the first race. I don't know what happened. It just black screen, middle of the race, nothing I could do. But really enjoyed that little battle there. Didn't have the pace of Dan or Little Leach or Gary, to be fair, but just managed to nab Gary because he made a little mistake coming out of Ascari. So lucky podium for me tonight.
Yeah, great pace again on the qualifying pace. New team, that's it for the Ginetta now. So that's it done. We're never going to see it in your hands again, I take it.
No, I mean, I am hearing rumours that there's somebody else coming up from the Pro-Am who's thinking about trying to go in the Ginetta, but I'm not going to name because obviously it's up to him to disclose that information. But a couple of people have been asking me for advice on setups and anything, and to be honest, all I'd say is just use default. That's the way to go with this car. Default is stable. It's pretty much sorts you around most tracks.
I've brought you a little present, Andy. I've brought you a gallon of petrol and a box of matches. So I thought you might be able to make use of them.
I'd love to watch this thing finally send it off in the best possible way.
Yeah, well, it probably stinks. It's made of fiberglass.
It's had a good end to the season, but that's where the goodness ends, pretty much. That's quite literally. So.
Well done this season, mate. It's going to be fascinating to catch you out of season 4. Sorry, Kelly, did you have something to add?
I was just saying, have you picked a car for next year? Are you still thinking about it?
Yeah, I want to announce while we're on the channel right now, myself and Disco are going to be teaming up in the BMW next season. Slingshot Motorsport are going to be racing the Pro Field next season, so looking forward to teaming up with Disco. Very quick in the Beamer, I believe he's getting a G29 as well, so should be interesting.
Good bit of kit. Well, that's part of the puzzle solved for us. He did hint that he had someone joining him, so we now know it's you. So that's good news. Good luck for that. I think you guys will do well.
Thank you very much. Yep. The hope is to be a bit more consistent next season for sure.
Yeah,
well,
best luck to that.
Best luck next season, Andy. We can't wait to see you fighting at the front again.
Thank you very much, guys.
Got Little Leach in the party as well, and obviously father to be. Second place, mate, no win for you this season, but it was close.
It was close. I went for the dive and didn't quite have it.
I'd have just lunged one, mate. Last race, who cares if he spins
I thought
off?
About it,
yeah. Yeah. I seen the one, and I'm talking GT5 Alton Park on Biggs, that kind of dive. Do you know what I mean?
That was a good dive, let's be honest.
Good night, not a bad night for yourself. Better race 2 than race 1. Finishing P5 in the season, obviously second in the constructors. More to come next year, I reckon. New car for yourself as well.
New car. We're hoping to get back on the top step. Yet.
Talk us through your night then, because obviously race 1 didn't go to plan, but race 2 was brilliant.
All I done race 2 was loaded my Daytona setup, to be honest. Yeah.
There we go then. No strategies, no setups from Gary tonight. I know you don't really got like Gary's setup, but we know how good he is at strategy.
No, there was nothing tonight really.
No.
Just keep your head down and get on.
well done, buddy. We can't wait to see you back on the grid next season. Oh, sorry, Kelly.
Don't want to announce that car, do you?
Do I want to announce that car?
Gary didn't.
You're the new number one.
We're going in the Renault.
In the Renault.
Wow.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Wow, that'll be interesting. Brilliant.
Phil and Sutty may have someone to race in the Acura next season. No, we can't wait. We can't wait to see a new manufacturer out there, Craig. Best of luck for next season, buddy.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Matt.
We'll get back to Danny in a moment, who took the race win, but we'll start with Jamie now. Jamie secured third in the championship. A real dismal night for you Audi drivers tonight. Yourself and Liam not on the pace at all, but you've secured third.
Yeah, so that after race one, just the aim was to just stay in front of D-Biggs and secure third in the championship. But yeah, we just didn't really have the pace tonight. Race one, we got a bit of luck with just people just spinning off and just being consistent. But say during the week I've been testing and I just haven't found the right balance of the car, and I stuck a bit more downforce on it and just thought I'd rather be consistent than fast and keep losing it.
We saw in commentary at one stage in race one that you and Liam was coming up to the back of Phil and Phil pulled away from the Audi. Is that how bad a night you've had?
Yeah, I think Phil might have been running quite low downforce, whereas Liam I think was running quite low downforce, but I was running 2 and 4. It was I'd been struggling that bad with keeping the car on the track with low downforce. I had to go a bit higher with the downforce.
You've also been struggling with what just happened there, a little lag. Well, I can Kelly, just to say, who's your driver of the season and driver of the day?
Good question. Let's go through the rest of the interviews because mine's quite drawn out. I mean, Jamie, it's not as clear cut as all that, is it?
Jamie, don't go anywhere for the moment. Dan's taken driver of the day, but we'll get to Gary. Gary, you secured the second place. Heck of a dive bomb on the first lap.
Yeah, I'd made some major alterations to the setup and obviously not doing any laps. That was, let's put it this way, very different.
I called that.
You seem to look a bit quicker, but the corners you seem to struggle. That dive bomb sort of side by side with Andy, ahead of D Biggs, and then your brother seemed to have to react to you not stopping into the second chicane. That was quite interesting.
Yeah, I did shout to my brother, "Look out! I'm not stopping." My foot was planted on the brake. It was a bit like Cota in a different league on Formula One. I kind of hit the brakes and just didn't stop.
Oh, a Valtteri Bottas to say.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. Well then, second place in the championship though, Gary. Not what you wanted in terms of defending your crown, but best of the rest sort of thing. Second place. You're still showing that you're up there.
Yeah, still got good pace. Hopefully we can have a good battle next year with Dan and Biggs and all the rest of the boys.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, mate, in Loreno.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in the Renault. It's going to be interesting.
It is indeed. And we'll speak with Dan now as well. Dan, another race win, 8 race wins this season to tie you with Jamie Brazier on 8 this season. 14 overall now here at Simplay Motorsport, and you've ended the season in style. Not maximum points, but 2 wins nonetheless.
Yeah, it's been a good end to the season, and again, like I said in race 1, I wasn't expecting this kind of pace. Everyone finally, I think the Leachy Legends finally got their setups tweaked, and Craig, I got to put hats off to him. He nearly had me at the end. I had one massive wiggle coming out of Ascari, and I thought I'd dropped it. I thought I'd lost it, and I honestly thought Craig was going to shove it down the inside at Parabolica. I was ready to bail if he did, but he thought better of it. So it's been an awesome season. I loved racing these guys, and finally had a competitive season against Gary, against Jamie, against Craig, all the top guys, and I'm looking forward to renewing my contract with Shake and Bake and focusing on defending the title and defending the constructors as well.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating night for yourselves and a fascinating season. You've really sort of, you said to me and Kelly way back when, it's no longer Mr. Nice Guy letting people back through and not going for dives when I should. You've really kind of proven that this year. You've been elbows out, you've been aggressive, and that, do you reckon that's the change that's won you the title, or?
I think A bit of it, yes and no, and I think a lot of it is just having a solid teammate like Biggs, having the car, understanding, knowing what we both want in this championship, and just working together has really helped me out. And just stepped it up a level. I think racing other leagues as well, from Motive to the Sim Zone to racing here, the general driving has just improved in any discipline, from Clios to GT3s to LMPs. I've just pushed it a little bit more. And I've learnt this Porsche. I've got to like it now, and I can't take my hats off more to D Biggs. That's what's really helped me this season. Just working together to make this car as good as the champs themselves. So it's been great having him as a teammate.
Obviously, as well, finishing first in the title, massive achievement for yourself, and well done. We look forward to seeing you and D Biggs out there next season.
Yeah, definitely so.
Well
Me and
done,
Biggs will return next season to defend our title.
Kelly, any final words, as well as your driver of the day and driver of the season?
Well, my driver of the day is going to be Little Leach on his race 2 performance. I'm taking it you didn't change tyres, Dan. You weren't running the softs or anything like that.
I ran softs.
Told you.
You did run softs. Were they burnt up towards the end?
No, I was just driving Larry.
Just driving Larry, right? Okay. So, I mean, my driver of the season, and I may get slated for being biased, is Dan Unorthodox, because I mean he's put together an epic season. Him and some of the battles with Gary, who's a proven champion, have been absolutely epic up and down the season, and some brilliant top draw racing from those. So my driver of the season is Dan Unorthodox. Drove like a champion. With lots of stiff competition. But my driver of the day is going to be Craig Little Leach for that performance on Dan. Kept him very honest and was very racy. So yeah, that's my drivers of the.
Can I say one more thing? I forgot to mention it. My main contract. I want to say a massive thank you to Team Prolapse and Team Prolassi. I mean, I'm the only Prolapse driver in here. And if it wasn't for them giving me all the support, from Nicky to Exmar to Ben Parkey to all those guys who have given me the support and faith in me, I want to say a massive thank you to them. And I actually want to dedicate both my race wins to Mark's daughter, who's recovering from brain surgery. So, Mark, if you are still listening, mate, those 2 race wins go towards your daughter and the quickest recovery she can, and hope that everything goes to plan. So a massive thank you to Team Prolapse, and share the rainbow, taste the rainbow.
Taste the rainbow.
Return. Team Prolapse will return.
Well said then. Dan, you and Jamie tied for driver of the season from the votes from YouTube, as well as mine and Kelly's votes as well. But that's all we've got time for.
Did we hear yours?
Mine was Dan.
Yours,
I gave mine to Dan. There was three. There was 3 in the chat for Jamie, 1 in the chat for Dan, and me and you for Dan as well. Dan's had a tough league season, battling the likes of Gary and Craig to win the constructors and drivers. When Dan had a tough year last year in the Ferrari and Porsche, I think it's been a hell of a comeback. People have gave it Jamie, though, so tied for 3 votes each for Dan and Jamie. We'll be back, though, tomorrow night for the finale of the GTEs at Suzuka, and we'll be back in about a month's time. I'll tell you the dates now. We'll be back on the 1st and 2nd of September for the GT3s. It's been a pleasure for you all joining us throughout the season. A pleasure to be in the commentary box with the likes of Liam and Kelly this season. But what a season we've had. Can Dan regain his championship? Can Shake and Bake regain their championship? Can the Renault do anything? Can Andy and the BMW be back to his best? And what will Jamie do? He may have a new internet broadband provider.
That would be nice.
That is a month away. Anything can happen.
That would be nice.
We'll be back at the 1st and 2nd of September for the GT3s. Join us tomorrow night for the GTEs around Suzuka then. Dan versus Veilside for the title. Can Dan make it 3 championships in a month? Tune in tomorrow night and find out. But from all of us here at Simplay Motorsport, take care. Good night.
Good night.
Between us, yeah, I'm gonna be